tilted lawyer in velvet gown, whispers of law beneath the moon's sweet glow. He's here to guide you through the undertow, from tales of love lost and battles won, to secrets that hide when the day is done. He'll paint the night with stories so stark. Welcome to Family Law After Dark. Light up that cigar and pour a glass of red, as we wade through matters not often said, where hearts and minds often leave a mark. Dive deep into family law after dark. The lawyer's voice smooth like leather, he sings lies only he can tether. In the sultry jazz lounge, let the wisdom flow. Feel the rhythm in the late night glow. Through custody tangles and alimony strife, he navigates the drama of everyday life. With a wry wink and a cheeky remark, let's unravel family law after dark. Light up that cigar and pour a glass of red, as we wade through matters not often said, where hearts and minds often leave a mark. Dive deep into family law after dark. Light up that cigar and pour a glass of red, as we wade through matters not often said, where hearts and minds often leave a mark. Dive deep into family law after dark.
A very pleasant Friday afternoon. See, this is Omar Strada with the Tilted Lawyer Podcast. I am joined by, you can't see him now because he doesn't have an over. Ah, there he is, the Moose, fleeing Oregon.
Ladies and
with
gentlemen.
Schnitzel Ninja, and I have making his debut for FLAD, and hopefully his mic is fixed. Hey, Rob, what's up, man?
Hey, how you doing there, Omar?
Oh, that's
There
like
we
so
go.
much better. See,
we go.
we're just looking out for you, sir.
I think I started early like I usually do and wait 20 minutes. You know what I mean? Because I'm excited to watch your stream.
Yeah, we may or may not be joined by Brad. If he do, he might be coming in late. That just means that we're going to have a lot of sausage energy here in the stream,
Until
and
he
Schnitzel's going to
comes.
be.
So see.
Just kidding.
Literally?
I couldn't
Oh,
resist.
we're going to have a lot of male energy on the panel today, with Schnitzel trying to hold it down for the females. You know, I used to have a Dominic around. It's like put up the number and stuff. I don't know how to do any of that shit. I do. I haven't set it up, and I was going to do it, and I totally forgot until just this instant. And so we'll table that for another day. But look, I got Rob. Rob has a YouTube channel. Tell me about your channel, Rob.
I'm usually using it for education and for funny. Obviously, trying to hit a couple of groups, but my sister's been staying with me, and she has 2 cats. So a lot of the videos I've been doing are cat related and driving in Arizona. I'm just showing different sites. I've got stuff when I first started posting last year from Europe, from my trips to Italy and France, and just different things that I've come across. Recently, the rare earth gallery that I found here in Arizona, you would be amazed at the crystal fossils that they collect around the globe. So Brad would have been cool because the Petoskey stones are from Michigan. But
I'm willing
my
to
channel
bet
is entertaining. You know,
if I would have ran into a crystal fossil, I don't think I would have known what I was looking at. I would have thinking, oh, look at that rock.
Yeah,
Would've
once you crack it open, though, you would be in awe. So that's what this store is all about. I posted a video of that. But,
That's cool.
They have website themselves. Yeah, you'd
For
enjoy
everybody
it.
that doesn't know, Rob has been like as long as I remember streaming, I've seen Rob in the chat, and so this is his first appearance on the show.
Awesome.
Bruce obviously has a channel. Bruce, tell us about your channel where he talks about spreadsheets and like work
Yeah.
stuff.
So I have a playlist that is management best practices, which is good, even if you're not a manager, to understand what I expect of good managers. So I have that series. I have a series where I play some video games. I have my Clayton Eckerd versus Laura Owens playlist, right? So there's a variety of things in there. There's some live streams.
About Mary.
Yeah.
And then
Don't
we
forget
have
Mary Lincoln's.
the Mary Lincoln's thing. I still got to figure out what that is. I saw that on your show like last weekend or something. It's like, I don't know who Lincoln's is. I don't got time. I can't Google. So,
Well, she entered the sphere as a fan of Ron Owens, the radio host, back in San Francisco.
oh, okay. It's Owens
So-
related.
So she's of the same demographic as Ron Owens from the radio days, and of course she became interested in the case because he posted about it. So on Facebook.
And then to round out our panel, of course, you cannot forget about the Fampus, the famous Schnitzel. Jesus Christ, I can't talk.
Campus.
The Fampus Schitzel Ninja. Omar sent me a message and he meant to type famous and he typed Fampus.
Yeah, the world Fampus Schnitzel Ninja.
Fampus. That sounds like a kink. I don't know.
I don't know if it's a kink, but it was meant to be famous. She cracked the Laura Owens case. She's been instrumental in a lot of different things.
Amy like
related
an
to that case.
instrument.
Like an instrument, yeah. And she's wearing a Tilted Lawyer sweatshirt.
I sure am.
Yeah. Back when I used to have a merch store. I used to have a lot of things when Dominic was around. I should bring that guy back around.
Yeah, you should.
What do you think of that? Anyway, between the four of us, of course, we're all qualified to talk about, like, give advice about relationships and stuff. Of course, I am a family law attorney. I've been so for a number of years now. I've been an attorney for 11. I've practiced pretty much in virtually every area of law that you could imagine, from criminal defense to prosecuting crimes, immigration law, civil litigation, securities fraud, and more recently, family law. And this show was predicated on my experiences with my clients coming into my office and asking me, hey, should I get a divorce? And it usually divulges into all these other relationship stuff. And so, like, the cases that we talk about is pretty much part and parcel of what I experience every day. And I just give my family law attorney angle on it. And Bruce comes in and, like, yells at me for not knowing what a cuck is or how to use that word, I guess. And then Rob is constantly laughing. And
Omar, that's what that's called.
It's the
Schnitzel,
opposite of you.
totally, it's totally the opposite. And then Schnitzel brings in the comic relief with the timely.
Oh my god.
Exactly.
There you go.
And with that, let's get into our first case. Here we go. Happy Friday, y'all. It is May already. Jesus Christ. All right. Oh, our first case is a bit of a doozy. I should share my screen lest I leave any of you out. All right. This guy wants to divorce his wife of 17 years. 17 years. Hey, Rob, how old are you, man?
60.
60 years
Awesome.
old.
Awesome. No, 60 years young, Omar.
Years
Exactly.
young.
60 years young. So if anybody had advice for any of these folks, it would be Rob as our,
Yeah, a long time.
yeah, he's got some life experience. This person, Rob, are you married?
No.
Divorced?
Nope.
Well, I am both married and divorced. How about that?
Ha-ha.
I will not ask. I've asked Bruce this question many times, and I don't want to ask him again. And so,
No,
has to
I
be,
honestly, I've been single most of my life. Just a lot of turn downs, rejections. Never felt like I made this comment the other week about I never felt like putting my knee down to propose, and it just came out. And,
you don't want to bend the knee. You never want to bend the knee. That's bullshit, Rob.
Yeah. Well, I tried and I got rejected twice. So that
Oh
didn't
well,
help.
that's not ideal.
Hey Omar, put me on the
Yeah.
bottom. If you know how to do that. There you go.
There you go. And Schnitzel we trust. Schnitzel is a warrior queen for women. Yes, man. Yes, she is. All right. Well, Bruce is a G. He's been on the show for like a year. I don't know how long. Bruce, how long you been doing FLAD with us now?
I'm not sure.
By the way, I haven't called you Brad once yet today.
It's been a while. When did you start covering the Owens v. Eckerd case?
It's been about a year, since June of last year. Actually, April of last year.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Exactly.
it's before the trial.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. There we go. There we go.
And things are still happening.
Things are happening. It's all hilarity. I've taken less interest in that case because Gingerbread is kind of a joke. He's kind of a walking meme.
Mhm.
If I ever do cover that case, it's going to be just to dunk on that guy, and it'll be fully. I don't take that guy seriously anymore. Just put it that way. Not the way that Rachel, the judge, did.
Mhm, mhm.
I took him serious once, and I said what I had to say, and then it's over now. Let's get into this case. How about that?
Real quick,
Yeah,
same
this is
thing in
long.
Arizona. You feel like how you do in Arizona.
How
No
I do in
rules.
Arizona?
No, Genghis.
Oh,
Genghis. Yeah.
let me tell you something, Rob. Me practicing family law in Arizona would be Gingerbread's worst nightmare. He don't want to run up against an attorney like me.
It wouldn't be a problem for him because he only has one family law case.
That is true.
Yeah, dude.
What's up, Redondo? I was supposed to give her a call earlier. Redondo, I'm sorry. I'll try to do it after
Did
the
you
show.
schedule your vasectomy yet?
I don't have an appointment. They just want me to go in. And so I have to like go in and do these labs.
Yeah. Did you
And
schedule it?
then no,
You
they just want me to like go. They're just
Oh,
like go
go.
whenever you have time.
Go on Monday.
That's
You
how
know
they
what?
trick you.
I will go on. I know, because then it just never gets done. I don't have like a date to go. Then I just never do. So I will go on Monday. I'm going to get, you know what? I'm going to get vasectomized this month. That is my goal.
Nice.
Just snip it off. I mean, not
There
all
you
the
go,
way
man.
off, but just, you know what I mean.
Oh boy.
They removed the tubes.
Yeah,
It's like 2 tubes.
take out
Just
the
like-
tubes then. They don't.
Yeah.
They remove them. I thought they just snipped them. No.
Well, I guess it depends on which procedure you get. But my
I was
husband
like-
just had it done today, and he said there were 2 tubes that were
Oh.
removed.
They removed it. Now that makes me
Yep.
nervous.
Oh. I thought mine got tied
Are
off.
they reversible? Depending on which one you do.
It's not a walk-in vasectomy, Redondo. They want me to do like more labs.
Why?
To like make sure you're healthy to get this procedure, right?
Oh,
They
I never
wanted to
had
make
do
sure that I don't have like an iron deficiency or something.
Or anemia. Oh well.
Exactly.
Sorry. I meant to say something else.
They got to make sure everything's
What's up, Snow Wonder? It's good to see you back in the chat.
I'm
oh
having
boy.
bourbon, by the way. You didn't ask.
I did not ask what y'all are lubricating with. I have a. Y'all are going to be so disappointed in me, but I'm still like on my subscription
Wine. I can see it in
wine.
the back.
I know. I'm advertising. Free advertising.
The back of the bottle.
We don't do free advertising on the Tilted. Oh, I got hit up by a sponsor today.
Ooh.
It's about AI. I don't know if I'm going to do it or not. I kind of like not being sponsored. We'll see how that goes. But I'll tell you what, Lauren Nighty mentioned on a stream lately that she got hit up by like a sex toy club
Mm-hmm.
to be sponsored. And I'm a little jealous that nobody's ever hit me up for that.
Well,
That's bullshit.
tell her
That would be
to
perfect
give
for
them
you.
your contact. It would be. I I dated a guy once with a very low voice, and he did a commercial for a sex toy company that was like local in the area. It was on the
If you
radio.
want to have life-size sex dolls, all you got to do is call 1-800 Adam Eve. Adam Eve.
Adam Eve.
Never
Actually,
mind.
sex doll. Something.
We got to workshop this.
Oh, we'll work it out.
I
Inevitably-
recently saw an ad for a male tampon. Have you ever heard
No,
of
I
those?
can't do a tampon ad. I don't want to do a tampon ad. Where would I put it?
They used to call for
Don't
bass,
answer that question.
On the screen.
and they called it male tampon. I'm like, inventive.
Oh, Rob, I like you, man. You're doing
Right.
great so far. Yeah, all right. Let's
Omar, say pleasure isn't a luxury; it's your birthright.
pleasure isn't a luxury. It is your birthright. Ordained by God. How about that?
Boy. We'll workshop that too.
5 out of 10.
Forged in the fires of the God of
my
Slipperi's.
loins.
I don't know. I think
Oh.
if it's burning, you're doing something wrong.
Anita, it's so good to hear from you, man. I didn't think you were going to come.
Hello, hi.
Hey.
It's like
Hi.
2:21 a.m. where you're at.
Yeah.
Well, you came at the right
Yeah.
time. You have to give some female energy to help out Schnitzel. She was like,
yeah, I heard there was a sausage fest, so I came to the rescue.
A sausage and schnitzel fest.
She's all
sausage
over
and
the
schnitzel.
sausage.
What a mouthful. That's what she said.
That's what she said.
It's a lot of meat.
Does he look like a bitch?
Why? Who? Jesus. All right. I think we should get into this case. Let's
Why?
get into
Who?
this case.
Jesus? Why do you have to
Oh.
bring him into this?
You're too sauced right now.
Me?
I've been streaming all day, man. It's like I've been streaming all day and I'm getting a little nutty. And so I'm going to try to refocus. I got to
Yeah.
recalibrate.
That's
you
what
know?
you're going to take
Protection
care of with your
relevance.
vasectomy. Getting a
You
little
did
too
good,
nutty.
though. I attended them, Omar. I was impressed. You were like, each one seemed like you were ready for each one. You weren't babbling or dribbling your mouth, after basketball players. So I was
Oh.
impressed.
Do I
I'm
often
not-
dribble my mouth?
Something else dribbles?
Well, many men
Like
dribble
Laura's
before they
medical
shoot.
expert said?
That's true.
Oh, many men have dribbling issues. Let's just say that.
You won't soon.
All right. Oh, Jesus Christ. 1 month ago, I, 43-year-old male, found out. Oy. Found out that my wife's 41-year-old. Okay, focus. Let's focus. What is this about? This guy wants to divorce his wife of 17 years because of an old FWB. My just initial takeaways. Initial takeaways is maybe that's a bit of an overreaction. Maybe. But I'm also assuming no infidelity or whatever. Because otherwise, why wouldn't that be in the title?
I want
In
to
which
know
case-
why.
Former white boyfriend?
Yeah.
FW.
Friend with benefits.
Gotcha.
So let's get into what this guy has to say. 1 month ago, I found out that my wife, male best friend, was actually her former friend with benefit. And that has enraged me to no end. Not just because they had that kind of past, but because she kept it a secret from me. Is that Brad? What's up, Brad? Welcome to
Hello.
the panel. We got a crowded panel today. We got six.
Oh,
six.
Well, I'll go home then.
So I
Brad up.
really did say you, didn't I?
Put me on the bottom. I have to support this group.
Yeah.
No. Okay.
Brad higher up. There we go.
There you go. All right. Picture, actual video on top. Avatars on the bottom. I could also get rid of this, and now everybody's visible. How about that?
It's amazing.
Magic.
I'm so proud of you, Omar. You're learning.
I'm learning. All right. So this guy, he's upset because he just found out that his wife's male best friend, they used to actually be FWBs. I can't envision a world where a male and a female would be best friends and not have at some point been like in an FWB scenario. What have you to say to that, Anita and Schnitzel?
What
I know
if
what the
they're
men
gay?
would say. What was that?
What if they're gay?
What if they're not gay?
All it takes is
Very
tequila, and then
smooth.
most women turn gay. So
What?
I mean, sure, if they're gay, fine. But even then, like a good tequila trip, and you never know what could happen.
Does the same go for guys, Brad?
I really haven't drank tequila, to be
Maybe
honest.
you should try it sometime.
I'll give you my answer. I'll give
Yes.
you my answer. Okay, tequila does not affect me any differently than whiskey does. First of
That's
all,
what
for
you say
starters.
now.
Second of
I like
all, I don't believe that I was ever friends with a woman. No, that's not
Without
true.
I don't believe I was ever friends with a woman.
You mean after
without
being
benefits.
You are
Friends
having
with
to rethink what
benefits.
you're about to say.
Okay, I did because I'm sorry. Go ahead, Anita.
No, sorry. I think like friends with benefits, like, do benefits always include? I
Going
don't
to the
know,
moon.
I can't.
Things
Are you
Do
like
asking
that.
what
something
kind
about
of
it because-
benefits?
Yeah, because like friends with benefits, it
Well,
means
sexual
that
benefits is
Yeah.
implied.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So, but there are.
It's not like he comes over and
male
fixes
a
her
female
computer,
can be
is all I'm saying.
friends, and I mean,
Wait,
think-
that's what it
I think
means?
they can
What have I
be
been
friends.
doing?
That's how it starts.
Brad has
That's how it
lots of them.
starts.
No, I just think that there's sometimes like because I mean it's an intimate relationship where you have with a friend, so
Yeah.
you might have feelings, but it doesn't always mean you've had a benefit. So I think there are male. and
Anita
female
brings up a good point.
relationships.
Okay, so this is what I feel. I think that women could be friends with a man and have no sexual feeling whatsoever. I don't
Yes.
believe the inverse is true of men. I think
Correct.
that the reason why men are friends with women is because they're trying to sleep with them.
And what
Unless-
does that say about you?
I'm a man. I don't have any female friends like that. So, I mean,
I've been in the friend zone and I hate it there.
Mhm.
But
well, that's what happens. Like you become friend zoned, and I don't have like any room in life for like I don't know, female friends that are like not like I don't know. When I was younger, I didn't have any female friends where there wasn't like romantic dealings, unless they were lesbians.
Hmm.
In which case, like I had like one of my best friends in high school was a lesbian, and so there was that scenario. But every other time I befriended a woman, it was like specifically. No, that's not even true. I got to rethink my whole thought process here. What do y'all think about this?
Maybe
So
we
I
should read the
I think the
post.
times have changed too, by the way, just to let you know. Like maybe it was not so common back in the day. But now it's way more common.
Yeah, I feel like nowadays I can be friends with a woman like completely platonically. I can, but I'm also
Otherwise-
older.
reading
Well,
your
it's different
story,
because you're taken too.
Yeah, and like in my younger years, I just don't remember what that was.
I think whether or not you're single is heavily dependent on how this relationship turns out. Because when I was single, I dated a lot of women, and some of the times it may not even have been dating, but it had been friends with benefits, and then turned into platonic relationships afterwards. Ask my wife how many friends of mine she met that I dated.
Damn, Brad's a player.
It's not
Right?
even.
I know,
It's not even.
Brad is a player.
It's not even a matter of being a player. It's that before I met my wife, I didn't have a core group of guy friends. I had a whole bunch of exes that I would hang out with that we were no longer together.
You sound
That's
like a
not-
lesbian. Sorry.
She's-
Sorry.
I'm moving back
Shut
to
up.
Michigan. Hanging with Brad.
Anita, did you just say that Brad sounds like a lesbian?
Yes.
I mean, that's what I've heard. Like, all lesbians are friends with their exes. So
I mean,
sorry.
it's either that or it's Brad on a big long couch with all these ladies on either side, and they're all partying all night.
I can see
that's
it. I
the
can
vision
picture it.
I have in my head.
I
In a
could
big van.
Bruce, what do you think about all of this, man? What do you think about the FWB situation? Or
I think we should read the post.
Like I've been waiting
I mean,
23 minutes for this.
Jesus Christ!
He's
All
like,
right,
I've
let's
already
do it.
read below. You got to scroll more.
All right. So when we started dating 18 years ago, we agreed to cut all ties with our exes, and now I've learned that she's been lying to me about that for years. And finding out last month, I spoke to a lawyer and told my wife we were getting a divorce. What?
That's a little excessive, but
A bit much. Nothing she says or does now will change that. I took a DNA test for my daughter and twins. Wow.
That's a little.
And have gone no contact with my sister. What is with this guy, man? I some might say I'm taking
I
things too
think you
far.
skipped it, but the sister knew. Well, he didn't know.
No, I didn't skip anything. This is
Okay.
he's just jumping chapters. Some might say I'm
No,
taking
you
things too
mentioned the
far.
sister first, and then he mentioned.
Oh, did he?
cutting ties with her. Yes.
Okay. Especially with the DNA test, but there's a reason for it. Her friend with benefits and I look strikingly similar.
Okay.
We're both 6 feet tall, have blonde hair, and blue eyes. Until now.
They could be from Minnesota.
Until
I should have the German national anthem on ready. Just
Right?
that's the criteria for Jesus. Detroit, Michigan. Until now,
Oh,
I
what?
never questioned
No,
whether
Michigan is full of poles. That's the funnier part. There's huge swaths of poles in Detroit.
I never
Yeah,
questioned whether
I was
my
going
kids were mine.
Scandinavian myself. Yeah.
But after learning about her past with him, I can't help but feel paranoid. On top of that, her FWB never got married because he claimed to have a free soul. It makes me feel like she just settled for me. And if he had ever decided he wanted marriage, she would have left me in an instant. The only silver lining in all of this is that the house we live in is in my name. I inherited it from my grandfather before we got married. Oh, little does he understand the rules of transmutation. I got to get nerdy for a minute. If you inherit a house from your ancestors, it is your separate property. If you inherit it, good for you. But if you use any community funds whatsoever to improve upon the house, to pay the mortgage payments, to pay off whatever, then she obtains or he obtains a community interest in the property. Nerdy part over. I've
What if
now
there was
kicked
no
him off.
mortgage?
Then it would be his outright, except for the appreciation potentially if there were community funds that were used to like make repairs on the house. You can make an argument for that. And but for the repairs, the appreciation wouldn't happen.
Because this happened to me. My ex bought the couch that we had used for the house, and she wanted to be reimbursed for the cost of the couch. But if you were married and she bought the couch, she then gets proceeds from the house because she bought a couch?
Nope. That's not affixed to the house. That is a piece of furniture that is removable, not a part of the house. But for example, if you like put in a swimming pool, then it's a fixture. It's a little bit different.
The roof.
If you replace the roof, if you hadn't replaced the roof, it would have depreciated in value. Because you fixed the roof, it has appreciated in value. It's now the community home. And you have invested in community funds, which entitles her to a percentage of the appreciation of the home.
Mm-hmm.
Can you
I
offer
could
to
get-
pay that?
If
Pay
she
that and then
paid or
she's
didn't
out?
pay, he has
Yeah.
proof that he paid for everything or anything. Would it
It
still
doesn't matter who-
communal funds.
It doesn't
Yeah,
matter after they get married.
Doesn't matter who paid for what, because it's all community money once you get married. What was your question, Anita?
Sorry.
I'm saying that, like whatever, if I guess the other person has to prove they've contributed on paper, there has to be some kind of paper trail about it.
But there will be. And if,
And-
like, for example, if you had a joint account, then fine. Even if you had separate accounts, every dollar that you make during marriage, if you're in a community property state in America, every dollar that you make is 50 cents belongs to your spouse. It's half yours, half his. Everything is half yours, half his. So
Unless you
if
have
it's,
prenup.
And 30 cents for the government.
unless you had, damn it, Brad, you're a Republican ass. Unless you had a prenup, exactly. Or an 852 writing in California.
And we do the taxes too, so you have your tax forms to show everybody's income and all that for Anita.
That, and then the tax debts are both yours and his and all of that.
Can I offer to pay that sum back and then she or he is out of the?
Oh, you
Does
could do
that
that.
work?
He has to agree to it. Otherwise, we're going to go by the statutory rules, which is a straight up 50-50.
For the settlement negotiation.
Also, it directly makes it 50-50 regardless how much you've contributed.
It will never be 50-50 in an inheritance scenario. Unless Well, because if he inherits it, it's his separate property. So if it's worth $500,000 and it appreciates in value to say $1 million, he would be entitled arguably to half of the appreciation, which would be $250,000 of the $1 million that it's worth. He'd get $750,000 in that scenario. She would get $250,000.
Even
If we're
though
just-
it would only be in his name on the inheritance.
Yes.
That's
If
why you get to
use-
subtract out the first $500,000.
Right. If you use community funds, community sources to maintain the home.
No, not the
And even
home,
then-
the inheritance. So if you inherit like a 401k,
Oh, well, that's different. 401k, if you inherit a 401k and you're contributing to it during the marriage, it's now a community asset.
right? But if you don't
It's-
contribute it, my uncle never
Sure.
had kids, gives it to me,
Then it's yours.
then it's mine. And
Outright. If you don't contribute to it, yeah.
Well, it'd be weird if it didn't appreciate in value during your marriage. That'd be that'd be a really terrible
Yeah.
401k.
That's why I use that example, because it can appreciate without the need for community investment.
No, you're
Correct.
right. So in that scenario,
Correct.
yes, you would be entitled to all of the value of the account, including the appreciation, without a community interest. All right. Nerdy part over. I've kicked my wife out of the house and taken her to the parents' place where I told them exactly where we're getting divorced. I also told my kids because I believe they're old enough to know the truth. What?
Well,
The
he said he
truth.
got the DNA test, but he never said whether or not it was positive or not.
I feel like he was
Well,
ready to
maybe he
leave.
did-
I don't think this is the reason why he left.
Yeah, I gotta agree. Since then, my wife has been calling me constantly, crying and swearing that they were just friends. I don't believe her. I made it clear that even if the DNA test confirms all three are mine, I will still go through with the divorce. From what I hear
This guy has issues.
from my brother-in-law, who lives near her parents, she's a complete wreck, barely eats anything. My sister also tried to reach out to me through her husband, but I told them I don't consider her my sister anymore after wasting 18 years of my life. Honestly, if the DNA test comes back negative, I don't know what I would do. I love my kids more than anything in this world, and finding out that even one of them isn't mine would break me more than anything else. That is his post. There's comments below. I'm not going to read them yet. What do you all think of that?
Oh, can I just have something
Yes.
quick. I
Mhm.
think this guy, because it's like he's punishing her, and because he cannot really do anything about it, he's going to the extreme because it's so far behind. It looks like a guy who likes to punish and be right. I don't know, that's what it sounds like to me. And because he cannot, it's not in the moment, she cannot engage or convince anything. That's why he's so harsh. And also he has to go to the therapist, obviously. But this is a bit extreme.
100%. I'll just give my spin. Look, the guy has, I'm not sure if I don't think that he's insecure. I think that you're right, Anita. I think that I think he's been wanting to leave. He was just waiting for a reason. Like this idea that, hey, I don't know what I'm going to do if the kids are actually mine. He's not, he knows what the answer to that question is. He doesn't have any ounce of him that genuinely believes that his wife was cheating on him with his old friend with benefit, whatever. I mean, the fact that they've been married for how long did she say? 18 years ago? 18 years ago.
Mhm.
18 years. Now he's upset about somebody that she slept with like 20 years ago?
Mhm.
Bruh.
And it was
That's a
only
whole
month.
lot of time to give up.
Something else is going on that he wants out. I would
Mhm.
posit a guess that he has an FWB of his own.
Yes, exactly, Omar. We had that
Oh,
discussion at
no.
the beginning.
There
I'm
we
thinking,
go.
how many has he had that he feels so guilty that he's going to get out of it before she finds out?
I know,
Which-
and maybe it's a hot take, maybe it isn't, but it feels like projection rather than genuine ire. What do you think about that, Bruce?
Yeah, I don't think the information that he learned warrants this response, which leads
Right.
me to believe there's an alternate source for the reason for why he's having this extreme response. And we don't know what it is. And we can speculate, but that's all we can
What
do.
would your speculation be?
I have to speculate. I don't like
Freedom to speculate.
I don't like to speculate.
Damn it, Bruce.
I like facts.
Well, you get to
Right.
facts via speculating, so you have to
So what do you
find.
think about all this? What do you
What does
think
Emily
about this
D. Baker
guy?
say? Facts, not fuckery. This is facts, not friends with benefits.
Oh, I hate that. I hate that phrase so much.
Oh man.
I don't know why. I just hate it. I don't know why.
Because you're jealous because you don't have your own little slogan.
You're right. I don't
problem-
have my. You know what my slogan is? I can't repeat my slogan.
Damn it, Brad.
boy.
Omar, I
Yes,
have this
me.
for you. Ready? This one's for
Yes.
you.
Fundamental bullshit. There's no other way to say that. There's
Oh,
none.
boy.
I can't.
Hell yeah. That was awesome.
Who the fuck are you to put me on trial? I've never even met you.
I got my own soundboard too. Hey, Schnitzel, what do you make of all of this?
I could see him having his own situation and kind of looking for something just to get out, like you said. But I could also see his mind wondering, like, if he feels like she lied to him about what the nature of this relationship was. Maybe his mind is going wild about, like, well, what else has she lied to me about? What, have they done anything during our relationship? And he's kind of running with those fears and letting those guide his decisions right now, rather than like his like regular state of mind.
Well, let me ask you this. What if your husband, you found out that his friend of like 20 years or whatever, they banged like 20 years ago and he never told you about it, but they always remained friends, and you found out now, 20 years later, what would be your response to that?
I wouldn't care all that, but in the grand scheme of things, I wouldn't care that much.
Yeah. So
I'd
Would you
probably
think
at first be like, oh, did you like intentionally not tell me? Or, just to be curious, like, did you think I was going to be upset if you told me that? Or did it literally slip your mind and you just didn't remember even to like mention it?
his
I
answer would have
personally wanna know that.
probably been something like, yeah, it just wasn't that important. It was so insignificant. I never thought it was a thing. Not worth mentioning. And so,
And I'd probably be fine with that.
yeah.
If I had
Thing is-
asked and he said no, and then I found out, okay, that's different. But then if it never came up, and I don't know, I can see why it would be uncomfortable. I mean, it's not ideal, but I don't think there's always something sinister happening behind it. So,
I guess it would be
especially if you're a
different.
jealous type, if he's obviously jealous, right? So maybe she
Yeah.
thought that he's gonna
Yeah.
react this way, and look, so that would.
I'm honestly
There's
skeptical
a
of whether or
red
not
flag
he's jealous.
sentence near the top you didn't cover, which we should hit.
What's that?
Not that far up. Where the heck was it?
Was it above
It
the
was in the-
story?
Was in the first paragraph.
Yeah.
Trigger warning?
Go up higher.
What the heck? There was some sentence in here somewhere where they said when they got married, they agreed to cut all ties with all of their exes.
Yeah, that first sentence,
Oh,
second
yeah.
paragraph.
When we started dating 18 years ago, we agreed to
There
cut
it
all
is.
ties with our exes.
Yeah.
Now I've learned that she's been lying
Like,
to me about that
That's
for years.
real weird. Like, when you start dating someone, are you just like, I demand neither of us ever talk to our exes ever again? Like,
It's
that's
so
I think it's
unhealthy.
something,
weird sentence to me.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's something that like a younger man would be concerned about, honestly. And if they were 18 years ago, he would have been about 25.
And certain personality types too. I don't even think it's necessarily just about age.
You're probably right about that.
It looks like he went extreme too. Like,
Yeah.
Well,
it just
I
seemed
just think
extreme.
that you're right, Rob. I think that he was looking for a way out.
Yeah.
And I think he's probably had this in his back pocket for a long time.
The weird thing is you're 43. You've got what, 3 kids? Like, why would you want to even go 50-50 at that point at 43? Like, that's a whole lot of stuff to be trying to tackle in a new single life.
I don't think he realizes it because he writes about being a silver lining that he inherited the house and it's only in his name. But like Omar explained, that's not how it works, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, he's still gonna have to give her something. It's just, I think that he's probably having. Honestly, it reeks of a midlife crisis.
Mm-hmm.
I know that people don't like when I like resort to this, but it feels like he's got a mistress or something,
Or a
Another
few
thing,
WBs, you know.
or somebody that he's interested in,
Yeah.
and he's looking for a way out. He's tired. He knows that, you know, he's going to wake up and, you know, he's feeling his youth slipping away.
He'll be 60 one day.
He's going to be 60 one day. He's going to wake up and be 60 years old.
Oh my God.
And then what? And then he'd be like, well, shit. And he doesn't want to piss away the time with a wife that he's only sort of fond of, not in love with.
I'm also getting this vibe that there's a chance that he has always been the asshole in the relationship and
I
he's
get
always
that
been
vibe
good.
100%. Yeah.
And then he got an opportunity and he wants to make like scenes so everybody sees how she's like, there's so many things that could be. Then
Here's this
Yeah.
dutiful wife that, like, you know, her whole life, 18 years ago, would put her at 23. You know, she's devoted her entire life to this guy. She had like bad sex with an FWB that she wasn't that interested in like 20 years ago. And this guy's all hung up about it. And somehow that's going to be the demise of their marriage. That doesn't make a lot of
This
sense.
guy, oh, yeah, like
Well-
maybe she doesn't want to be married to him anyway because he sounds like a controlling asshole.
Yeah, he sounds like it, honestly, not worthy of what
Like,
she
not
thinks
like-
he is.
Together.
It's not like the former FWB is not around anymore. He says that they're friends. So
Well, I mean,
If you look at the dates too, they were dating 18 years ago. Their oldest daughter is 16. So that's
Yeah.
only 2 years into the marriage. So the FWB was around back then.
what is he going to do? Like, if imagine like his 16-year-old daughter catches wind that, you know, dad just got a paternity test to figure out if he's really her dad.
Right.
What a
If
piece
she's
of shit, man.
green, she'll play it. Kids play that, right?
I mean, at
Parent-
that point, I mean, 16 years in, and your dad is your dad.
yeah, right.
And like, if you're in that situation, I mean, you can't just like divorce your kids. I feel like
is he going to
people
pay
are-
their therapy bill?
I mean, they're adults, just about, you know.
No,
I mean, imagine 16 and
I'll
12.
lawyer up. The kids are going to lawyer up.
That's what
No,
I'm
no.
saying.
No, he's not going to pay their therapy bills. He's going to
Rude.
probably object to it. Yeah, it happens all the time. Dads don't want to pay for therapy. They usually object to paying half because they're pieces of shit. Introduction to some of my cases currently ongoing. But look, whether or not they need therapy is debatable. But imagine like he's genuinely your dad and then he's like trying to get out of it somehow by like wanting or requesting a DNA test. And this 16-year-old girl is well aware of what's happening because she's damn near an adult and she catches wind of it because she has adult conversations with her mom.
Well,
Gee.
apparently he already told the kids all about it.
What a piece of shit, dude.
He's
He's
they
like,
look alike, so she could go either way with either dad. You know what I'm saying? Like she goes,
Yeah.
I don't care about the DNA.
well, I don't have any good advice for this guy. My advice would be, don't be such a fucking asshole. Don't overreact. Like, what is wrong with you? Like, what's the deal? Do you have any proof that she's committed? Like adultery? Like, what's real? Honestly, if I were to have like drinks with this guy in a bar somewhere, I would honestly just want to know, like, what's his deal? Like, what's really going on? What's up with you? Like, this response doesn't seem to be warranted.
Was there an update on this?
Yeah,
There should be.
So these are the comments.
Update somewhere.
Commenter 1 says, listen, man, at the end of the day, it's still your marriage and way beyond Reddit's pay grade, but consider some solo therapy to work your feelings out. I understand your anger and rage, but I think this is coming from a fear that she cheated on you with him. I don't think it's coming from a fear. Commenter 2 says, the feeling of being second best and the safe choice is one that I hope no one goes through. What do you got to say to that? Any of the men on the panel?
Well, I think that's what the comment 1 is alluding to, is that by virtue of excluding all other men from her social circle, then you're basically saying, I can't trust you with them men because I don't feel secure in being your partner.
Anita, Schnitzel, what do y'all think?
I don't know.
That's what I said.
The second
Need
Apparently
more
I'm being
information.
second best and
second
sixth.
best thing is a
Need
big
more
lack of
information
trust.
at this point.
Yeah, and he has no proof anything happened until
Yeah.
you get DNA results, which I'm guessing are going to come back for him, not negative, right?
I have advice
think-
for her, not
Did we get the
him.
DNA
He needs
test?
therapy.
And yes, I think he needs therapy, definitely.
I took the DNA test a week after finding out about their past, but I sent my wife to her family just 8 days ago. He met his wife through his sister. She wanted to go on a date with a coworker. Our marriage was fine. Sure, I wasn't a perfect husband, but I always try my best. From helping with household chores and taking her on surprise dates. Oh, husband of the year over here. Even after we got married and had kids, I was never even jealous of her male friends because I trusted her completely. That's why this hurts so much. Explain on how he find out after all those years. My sister's ex started working at my workplace. He seemed like a pretty nice guy. I asked him why he and my sister broke up. He told me that he couldn't stay with someone who still hung out with a former FWB. He said I was a bigger man than him for letting my wife stay close to hers. Something he could never do.
Oh,
In Italian, we call it rognetto. He just started some trouble in that husband and wife.
Yeah.
that's right.
How did OP's kids react to their mother's situation? The kids still don't know everything. I think my daughter's starting to put the puzzle pieces together for my parents. I don't have any. My dad died. My mom died. My grandparents died. Regarding her family, her parents tried to talk to me, but I told them I need some time for myself. He has an update. I want to make myself clear. I didn't kick her out of the
geez.
house. I like some crazy person. I asked for space. She accepted. I drove to her parents' place, which is a little over an hour away by car. Oh, this knight in shining armor here. The idea of cutting ties with exes was hers. When she said exes, she meant people like my childhood friend, who I only dated for a month in high school, but somehow not her FWB. Look, bitch, there's a definition of ex. There's people that you fool around with, and then there's people that you have relationships with. They're not the same. They're just not the same. They're not the same. I'm trying to be her lawyer here. His definition of what an ex is not congruent with her definition of what an ex is. She had no investment in this guy. Maybe they messed around. He ended up being friend zoned for life.
I will say, I think it's kind of weird that she's not wanting him to talk to his childhood friend who he dated for a month in high school. I think that's
Mhm.
That does sound quite.
insecure and controlling.
Childlike.
I was going to say psychopath, but
Why did that even come up, though? I guess would be like, I had a girlfriend in 6th grade. Why is she relevant to anything?
Mhm.
Better not be talking to her.
I mean,
Exactly.
she could be dead for all I
That's
know.
how ridiculous that sounds.
But like, it's so interesting. Within one sentence, he flipped the entire script. It went from he's controlling her with the breakup, but now in this, it's saying that she was controlling who he could manage, and then discovered that the rules didn't apply to her, which does change the equation of the story.
Mhm.
It's like
If it's
he's
true.
read it for therapy. Write it down, read it, and then, oh, okay, no, I better change that or make it.
He says, I asked her about her relationship with that guy 2 or 3 times early in our relationship. She always assured me they were just friends, but I felt insecure. I asked my sister, who knew them for 4 or 5 years. She told me their relationship was like that of a brother and sister, so I chose to believe that her big mistake. The FWB was never someone who would settle down and have a family. For as long as I've known him, he's always been traveling, doing dangerous things, chasing thrills. That's
Sounds
why
like a
I
lot
feel
more
like
fucking fun than you.
Oh,
maybe that's his source of insecurity, maybe. That's why I feel like I was the safe choice for her. The
I
fact that
think
she
he feels
kept,
like he has settled. That's why he's projecting.
yeah, he wants to be the one like doing the models and bottles things like overseas and stuff. And who knows, man? Like he's looking at this guy with envy as opposed to looking at his wife and him with jealousy.
Also, if she lied and said, we never had anything, more than just a friendship, and then he finds out that they did fuck on multiple occasions, I do think she should have told him the truth. But sometimes when you're with like the wrong person or an unhealthy version of possibly the right person, they don't take that information on in a good way. So you don't want to tell them the truth. And that's a
Right.
whole nother issue.
What if it
Then you
was just
shouldn't
like
be.
a bad sex? Like they fooled around and it was just like bad
Why not share that?
because it was insignificant so as to not be
But
relevant.
if they're asking specifically, did you ever fuck this person? And you say no, but the
But what
answer
if
is
that-
yes and multiple times.
Sure, but like what if the question is
how
not-
he'd react? Right? She kind of knew how he would react, so she just didn't even bring it up.
Man,
Well, and that's the thing too, because like I was with someone who was like that. Like I would talk about my past, like funny things that
Yeah.
might have happened during like encounters
Yeah.
or whatever it was. I was open to sharing that stuff, and I was open to receiving that information as well from this person. But even talking about a 7th grade, I didn't do anything like sexual in 7th grade. Not that I'm judging anyone who did. But anyway, if I talked about like having a boyfriend in 7th grade, like, and I was still Facebook friends with that person, this boyfriend would be like, I want you to unfriend them. That my ex was, but he was an abusive ex. He was very much like that. So he's a person who maybe I wouldn't want to tell everything to, because I knew it would start a big fight and it would be a big problem. My husband now, not that he doesn't care, but you know what, like that stuff doesn't bother him at all.
Mhm.
So
You knew how the reaction would be from the first guy, right? Your previous, and you knew, hey, nothing happened, so I'm not going to stir the pot by bringing it up. Kind of
right,
thing.
it's just going to make more problems than if I just keep. And it's not like you're intentionally trying to lie, but it's like when
Right.
you're with someone like that, it is not worth it all the time to give every single detail.
Right.
Yeah, there's look, I mean, the older that you get, you're not going to give every single detail of your life to every person that you meet. You're just not. You might not even give that to
Maybe
like a
that's the
future
problem.
husband or maybe or husband or wife. You just, because there's too much shit like going on. If it's important, you'll say it. If it ain't, you'll forget it.
But if you're directly asked and you lie,
True. That is true. True. I just don't have any evidence. I'm being like Brad. No, I'm not. I'm being like Bruce.
Bruce. God
there you
damn it.
go. It's been 0 days since.
Yeah.
I have no evidence that she was directly asked that question. I think he might have just made assumptions. Maybe he never asked the question. Like, what if you were like friends with somebody and you all like might have like had bad sex once and then forgot about it, and just you never bothered to tell your husband about it? Then what?
Well, I think that's different if you genuinely forgot. But then it's another
Yeah.
thing if this person you're with is going to believe you or not. And hopefully you're with someone who will believe you and trusts in you.
So then I think what we have here is
A failure to communicate.
what we have here is a failure
Oh.
to communicate. You
Here.
see,
It's overreacting. This guy's, I mean, if this guy really wants to get divorced, it's for
Brad
more
coming
than
in
just
clutch with that one.
thing.
Yeah, no, you're right. If he wants to get divorced, he can. He's going to have to pay her off $250,000
Or more. But we
Or-
can
or
pinpoint
less.
in this. We can pinpoint in this when that guy started working there as a coworker and made
Yeah.
that comment to him. Right?
Right.
Remember that?
Yeah.
That's how he found out, got his mind going, whatever, right?
Mhm.
Otherwise, nothing would have changed from what I can tell, right? Unless he was waiting for some reason, right?
Yeah.
Well,
And that,
think
that
that,
updated too,
for
the kids are, the
anything?
DNA test came back. The kids are his.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they're
It's
his
an-
kids.
It's an
You read
update too.
And I also feel like he's putting all of the blame on her and
Yeah.
not
Sorry.
even taking a step. Huh?
I was going to say, sorry, honey, the DNA is pot.
Oh.
Can I come home?
You can come home now. They're yours or they're mine.
Ours.
It doesn't feel like he's open to seeing anything he could have done differently, or open to the possibility of him misinterpreting or overreacting. Or he's just like, well, she did this and she did that, and this is why she's the reason I feel this way.
Yeah.
And they're early 40s, so it's plenty of life ahead. So I don't think she should go back to him. Let's look at it that way. The DNA test came back. I'll call it positive. They're kids, right? I think she should say, no, I'm lowering up, taking you to the cleaners, and I'm moving on with my life.
Yeah, but she's not going to get as much as she thinks.
It doesn't even matter. It's the fact that she didn't trust him now after what happened. Just like the reverse, right?
Well,
Same.
I guess you're right. They're married for 18 years. That makes it a long-term marriage. She's going to be entitled to alimony for the rest of her life or until she remarries in a community property state.
In California.
And in California. I don't know if that's true of every state, but there's similar laws in every state.
In Oregon, the alimony would be about half the marriage duration.
That's why he's leaving there.
But is there like what's the long-term marriage considerations in
Better
Oregon?
than California.
And in California, it's 10 years.
The same thing in the military. If you get 10 years, you get your spouse's Social Security amount.
Were you in the military, Rob?
No, my mom and dad. My dad was. So she upped hers when he passed.
Yeah.
Well,
what's up, Anita? How you doing?
I'm good. I'm trying to stay away from the American law on marriages because I don't really understand it. But
don't worry, it's okay.
If
It's
somebody,
okay.
if there's infidelity, does that take away from that 50-50 share? Is that something that
No. It depends on whether or not.
Because I'm trying to see that maybe he did the DNA test to try to prove that she cheated to get away from the.
Yeah. Well, I could tell you that in California they don't give a shit. In New York they do. Like in certain states they do, and most states they don't. Most states are no fault.
I think if that was his motivation, he would have mentioned it more clearly in the post.
Yeah.
The problem in the states is that every state has the potential to have different rules. So.
And they do have different rules. So we have 50 different sets of rules that we operate by.
A lot of the time,
Just
Omar's
little
defaults
countries
are for
in one
California.
country.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm finished with this guy. How about that?
Sounds good.
Fuck that guy. This new person wants to know, my 33-year-old husband, or her 36-year-old husband, she's 33, may have cheated on me with my dead best friend and had an affair baby.
You guys share the screen.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
You don't
All
have
right.
to, but it'd be helpful.
This is very morbid here.
He's got
Jesus Christ. All right. So
10 demerits.
throw away for safety. I don't even know where to start.
Well, you're typing this, so.
The past 6 months have been an absolute cluster F. It only seems to be getting worse. My best friend since elementary school, who I will call Alice, passed away in February from cancer. She had a 2-year-old daughter who went into the custody of her mom after she passed away, who I'll call Alexis. Last month, Alexis showed up on our doorstep unannounced, telling my husband he needs to take responsibility for his child and either take custody or start finally paying child support. There's a very easy solution to that.
Paternity test.
Yeah. If he knows he didn't do anything wrong, he would request one and be done with this. But I have a feeling that's not what happened. She says that Alice had told her when her daughter was born with the father, who the father was, but didn't want anything to do with him. To answer the inevitable, Alice was a traveling nurse and made a lot of money, which is the only reason I can think for why she didn't go for child support.
Always the nurses. I literally shared a meme with my friend.
Brad, don't be racist.
That's racist against nurses.
No, I literally shared a meme.
Or jobbist, I guess.
It says how people think sluts look like, and it says how sluts actually look like.
Oh boy.
It was a picture. It was a picture of you. Was
No.
it a picture of
Bruce
you?
called it. Those are the girls on the couch with Brad.
The opinions expressed
I know,
by Brad
right?
are not shared by the Tilted Lawyer podcast.
It's a meme. Come on.
I'm just fucking with you, Brad.
You better cover yourself, though.
Did you Photoshop yourself out of that photo, Brad? Come on.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, show me the photo. I wasn't even looking at the screen. Did I miss it? Was
What?
it anything good?
Yeah, he held it
It
up.
was the nurses.
It's on his phone.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
rude. Those people are caring for your wounds, sir.
They're caring for a lot of other stuff too, apparently.
It's
Well,
disrespectful.
one of the two.
Brad is going to be a dirty old man once he ages.
What's to say I'm not already?
That is true.
I want to
That's
invoke safe
I'm
harbor.
on FLAD where we talk about cucks and God knows what else. So
Well, we haven't talked about cucks yet, but maybe it's forthcoming.
Safe harbor.
Safe harbor.
Rule
All right.
26.
She says that Alice had told her when her daughter was born who her father was. All right, Chastity and Bull. Alice was a traveling nurse. Made a lot of money. That's why she didn't ask for support. So my husband's story is, I don't even know. He said that Alice's daughter is probably his,
Probably. I like it.
but that it isn't what I think. Almost
What?
3 years ago, we threw a large housewarming party as we just moved into our dream home after I finally finished residency and was set to
They're
make
both nurses.
real money for God damn it, Brad.
Wouldn't a residency be like a MD?
Well,
I think he slipped or something. It's going to be one of those things.
Urologist.
Honestly don't know how that works.
Proctologist?
I used to
Okay.
watch the show House. I forgot how everything goes. Alice was in town and set to be at the party, and I was called into work before she got there. I didn't get back until 3 a.m. Party was winding down. My husband was passed out upstairs. Alice had already left the party, which at the time I did find strange as we hadn't seen each other in months. My husband claims he woke up in the middle of the night to Alice on top of him, but he passed out again before he could say anything.
I've never been in a situation where I've been getting sexual favors and been like, oh, I'm just going to black out right now.
Well, it's not like a
Well, that's not what you said the other night.
I mean,
Oh.
it hasn't
Totally.
happened to you yet, Brad. I mean, you're still young.
In his defense, the other party is dead, so they cannot testify. So
For sure.
Oh
You
boy.
go, Anita.
I mean, well, look. Before
It's
we get
creative. You gotta.
before we jump to conclusions, have any of you, men or women on the panel, ever been in a situation where you literally woke up and remembered nothing, but you were in a different spot and you didn't know how you got there?
Yes.
I won't say I remembered nothing. I remembered very little, and I was in the same spot I remembered from the night before.
I mean, I remember falling asleep on a hotel bed and waking up underneath of the bed. So
Nothing wrong with that, Brad. Pretty normal.
There's kind of something wrong with that, just a little bit.
Were you alone?
no, it was after my mom's remarriage ceremony, and I was staying in a hotel with my family, and I just rolled off the bed and rolled under the bed and woke up. And then I basically felt like I was in sleep paralysis because I couldn't move. So I screamed because I couldn't move.
Was your underwear still on?
I hope so.
Oh my god! Wait, that's so it was under a hotel bed.
Yeah.
Yikes!
Oh.
I got to tell you though, I have a sleepwalking story. I literally was in a hotel, and I woke up. I literally woke up walking into the hotel lobby.
That's wild.
It was the most bizarre thing. I was locked out of my hotel room. I was a kid. I was like 16 years old. And I was walking into the lobby like, what in the hell is going on right now? It was the most bizarre thing. It's never happened before. It's never happened since. So it could happen. It could happen. I don't believe I was like sexually accosted or anything. I'm just lending a innocent reason for his loss of memory, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to do.
How did he get it up? Sorry, I just have to that's another question. Let's see if it was a girl.
I mean, biologically, when you're asleep, sometimes.
Give us
yeah, but he's
sometimes.
supposed to be passed out and drunk. Does that still happen? I don't know the anatomy of it, but
Well, to the extent that men have erections when they sleep.
Yep.
What?
It does.
The morning wood. Yep.
I
know.
know that part. I'm just trying to get to the part. How did she get pregnant?
I mean,
He
I
woke up
cannot.
for 3 seconds and then he
Yeah.
made the baby and then he fell back asleep. Bullshit.
I don't believe that you could have a sexual encounter and just not remember as a guy. That doesn't compute. It doesn't compute. Maybe it's a
I
thing.
want to say, I have a guy friend who was taken advantage of via drugs, and he was drugged and didn't remember and woke up the next morning.
I think we're saying in normal state without the effect of secondary substances.
So that's the only person I know who I've ever spoken with about anything like this that didn't remember.
But I mean, you think like a narcoleptic or something, you know, who could pass out and then be like, "Oh, well, I got laid. Well, that's odd." And
Oh, that's odd.
Well, Anita, just so you know,
He's claiming that.
the woman could make it happen if the guy's passed out. So you have to do a little extra work because she could make it happen and she could get pregnant.
I'm
Does
sure
that help
Dr.
you?
Medchill could explain it to us.
I mean, I think I have a better story for him. He could
I'm
have
thinking
said that,
that
oh,
movie
he was
with
really
Robin
drunk.
Williams way back
And
when.
then,
What was that movie? Where the nurse climbed on top of the dad to give birth to get pregnant for him?
Are you talking about that movie Species?
No, I remember that one. That was hot. But no, this is Robin Williams. He was his mom was Glenn Close, who was a nurse, and she
Oh,
was taking
God.
care. Do you remember that?
Glenn Close?
Yeah, she was the nurse, and the guy she was taking care of in the hospital would say,
Fatal
"Art,
Attraction?
guard."
No, not that
No,
movie.
before then. Sorry, I'll look it up.
This is Fatal Attraction 2, Jumanji Boogaloo.
oh, jeez.
What were you going to say, Anita? You were saying something.
Albert Nobbs.
I think like it would be a more believable story if he said that, you know, she was passed out on the bed and he was so drunk he thought it was her.
Garp.
and
Paradise
she
Road.
didn't, you know,
Oh, that's a
Garp.
that's a
Garp.
better story.
Schnitzel
That-
has knobs on the brain.
I feel like that was single white female.
Yeah, I go with that.
What when that lady like woke that dude up with like a BJ,
Yeah,
and
the
then
world
like he like
according
woke
to
up, was like, what? It was like her roommate, and she had like a wig on, like I forget that lady's name.
The world. It's not the world according to Garp.
It is, that's what I'm talking about. The world according to Garp.
Yeah, there it is.
I've never seen that movie.
It's got
There's
Robin
some-
Williams in it, and I've never seen it. That's
Oh, it's
wild.
worth it. Go to Tubi. Tubi.
World Accord. What? I've never
World-
seen. I've never even heard of this movie. 1982.
Yeah, it's a
Robin
Robin Williams
Williams.
movie that I've
Come
never
on
seen.
now.
This is
Yeah,
like
it's kind of
Popeye years.
historic, like my early years, you know.
Schnitzel, you've seen this movie?
No, never heard of it.
What the fuck? You giving me shit about it
Read
for?
by now, so y'all can watch
Googling.
it.
Come on now.
Okay, look, these people need a DNA test, and this is Redditor updates, so the DNA test results are probably in here somewhere, so we need to find them.
All right, let us
Please
continue.
repost.
All right. So ever since the party, he's been very distant with Alice, and after she had her daughter, he would even find excuses not to be around the house when she would visit at all. I don't know if that's because he cheated or if Alice actually raped him, and this was his trauma response. Honestly, Reddit, I don't know what to do. I've known Alice since we were children. She never had come across as that kind of a person. I've also known my husband for over a decade. He's not once ever given the inclination of a cheater. He's an attractive guy. I've seen the looks he gets at the gym. He's never given more than a glance in front of you. I mean, what kind of reasoning is that? What the hell should I do? How do I figure out what the truth is here when Alice isn't even around to defend herself? She never even implied she liked my husband. Why would she? Let alone want to sleep with him? Why would she tell you that? I told my husband he needs to get a DNA test before anything is decided on the child's part. But in the meantime, he needs to move out while I think about what I'm going to do here. Look, he's admitted to an affair. I don't think that is an issue that needs to be litigated. He's admitted it.
Did he?
I mean, it seems to have been a foregone conclusion. He's basically stating that I don't
He said
know
it
what
might
happened.
be his.
I was raped. That's his story, and he's sticking with it.
Well,
Regardless of whether or not you believe that, I think that's his story.
being an SA victim is not the same as having an affair.
Well, that's his story.
To be pedantic.
Yeah,
No,
and
those are two different stories, and we don't really know which one happened.
you're right. So either he's an SA victim or he was complicit,
Sure.
and we don't know which is which. You could
Well,
believe
super
him,
drunk.
or you could believe something else.
Yeah.
It's up to you to decide. And really, it's not up to us to decide. It's up to her to decide. She's going to have to make a decision. Does she really believe that he had like a wayward encounter with her friend who is now deceased and was completely innocent of the whole thing? Or
he either ran over her with his car on purpose or was super drunk and there was some sort of accident. Wait, wrong case. Sorry. Oh boy.
Uh-oh.
I don't know.
She says cancer. These tire treads say something else.
Schnitzel, Anita, your husband's come to you with this story. Like, I don't know what the fuck happened. I have no idea. I was asleep and it was the strangest thing. I woke up and I was having a dream and it looked like it was like your friend. And then I fell asleep. I have no recollection. And then like she's knocking on your door because she wants child support. Do you believe your husband was innocent in this? Or do you like, what is your genuine response to that?
My husband, I would genuinely believe it. Other people I've dated, probably not.
That's fascinating. What say
why
you?
Why do you have to believe anything? You go get a DNA test before you draw any conclusions.
Well, because it's not a question of the DNA; it's a question of intent.
I think for me, it's like
if it's not
he
his
should
kid,
have told me when it happened,
moot.
not after I find out there's a child, regardless of what it is. Like,
right? Yeah. If he waited to tell me until this person's knocking on the door, that would be sus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if it happened, like he came to me, even I don't know,
like
2-3 months after, you know,
that makes sense.
Came to her.
Yeah, and exactly.
Well, he did come to her. Obviously.
There's a lot of that going on.
Jesus Christ. And so, okay, I think the consensus is, look, if it was generally like a what the fuck moment, he would have went to her like the very next, I don't know what happened, I was raped, and would have told his wife right away. But it's like 5 years later, and she's like knocking at the door with the 5-year-old, and she wants child support. That is sus. It's a little bit sus. That's fair.
It is.
That's fair. I can't even argue with that. That's honestly the answer. That's the correct answer for her. And so this guy is coming clean now because he's being confronted with the threat of paternity now. He didn't come to it with her in the moment.
He thinks the test is probably going to come back positive for him.
Yeah, because he's aware of what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Because it wasn't just like her, like on top doing whatever. They did like a couple of other different things.
So what's the update?
Oh, this has previously been posted. The latest update has been marked with the
go down.
Triple asterisk.
Down.
I guess the
Scroll
update
down.
is August 12th, 2024. After talking with you, I've come to the realization that my husband is being truthful. My best friend raped him.
Where are you, Omar? You're not on the
No, Omar, you got to scroll down on the other tab. You open a new tab. Yeah, this one.
Here we are.
Oh,
we're here.
I thought it was a. Okay.
Oh boy. You're going. Oh boy. Why is there so
Stayed on the
much?
same post.
Oh,
all right.
no.
Several people pointed out that Alice not liking my husband, if it wasn't a affair, she would have told me when she was dying. That's
what?
A big assumption.
Yeah.
That's one way to think of it. If only to separate us. You're absolutely right. I was there in the room while she passed. I left her hands for days. We talked about so much. It was just an affair. She would have told me, you know what? Why don't we just go with that? Good for you. Keep your husband. And totally, he was raped. 100%.
What happened with the paternity test?
Well, not to make excuses, but losing my best friend to cancer along cancer was brutal to say. Devastated, wouldn't do justice. That it happened only 6 months ago. I'm still feeling it every day. So to have this thrown on me, I'm losing her all over again. Either she betrayed me and effed my husband, or she betrayed me and raped my husband. I think this is a case of she's going to believe what makes sense for her to move on with life.
Yeah.
Not only have I lost her now that I've lost good memories, my entire lifetime's worth, it was impossible for me to look at him and also not see her and be struck with the horror and realization of that loss all over again. I felt I needed to be able to break down, grieve, and think without the fresh wave of loss I got every time I saw him. It was wrong of me to ask him to leave. You're right, though. And as of a few minutes ago, I've righted this wrong. I called my husband. I apologized, told him I believed, and begged him to come home.
Oh,
He'll be
boy.
here in a half hour at most, and I'm going to support my husband the way I know he would have supported me. That is a lady that has rationalized away her husband's affair.
What
All
do you
right.
mean begged?
Now-
Like,
Keep scrolling.
Whose kid is it?
Keep scrolling.
Omar, here's a legal question. If somebody steals my moose DNA without my consent and gets pregnant, am I on the hook for child support?
Yep.
They need the most semen first, right?
Well, first of all,
That's what that's what
You
he's
could-
saying.
you can try to bring a criminal charge against her, but in
Yeah.
family law terms, if
It's
it's
hard to-
your kid, you're on the
Yeah.
hook, bitch,
Right.
and there's not much you can do about it.
So
That's
there's
why
family
those
court
sperm
and then there's
bank-
full court. Yeah.
The sperm
Yeah.
bank contracts are basically worthless because if they can find you and prove that you're the donor, then regardless of the fact that you signed away the sperm bank waiver,
Not necessarily true. That's a completely different situation.
Brad's talking from Michigan. Sorry, Omar.
well,
I didn't want to bring the sperm banks into the.
I mean, Jesus.
but there's situations that I've seen news articles about people who have taken donations from a bank and then found the person who gave it and then were like, oh well, you're now on the hook for child support.
Yeah, but the instant there would be a writing that superseded whatever family code statute that you were going by. I'm assuming from the sperm bank that under no circumstances will you ever be on the hook for child supports. Whether or not you can contract that away is a different question. But that would be a special scenario that has mostly been upheld historically in the courts. I'm sorry, go ahead, Rob.
I said, I think I read that in Rule 26.
You did not read that in Rule 26. What you read in Rule 26 was gingerbread is a. Oh, I missed the moment. I missed the moment. Damn it!
Fundamental bullshit. There's no other way to say that. There's
Whose
not.
kid is it?
Scroll down underneath
What
of
you
the
read
5
under
stars.
Rule 26 was gingerbread.
Does he look like a bitch?
Yes,
Oh,
Damn.
Bitch is running wild, man.
that's what you read in Rule 26. So
Underneath
All right.
of the 3 stars.
I think we're done with this hypo.
No,
How about
no,
that?
no.
Listen,
you
Brad,
Underneath of the 3 stars. Keep going.
Okay, here we go. So I've received a lot of messages for asking for an update, so I've decided to finally sit down and write one out. As you can imagine, after the clusterfuck that was thrust upon us, this update isn't likely to answer any of your questions, only present a few more. I want to start by telling you all that I love and trust my husband. I'm concerned for this young lady. I'm deeply concerned for this young lady. My reaction to ask him for space to think in retrospect was wrong. But at the same time, I didn't know what to think. It was a combination of losing my best friend, also the fear that I was losing my husband sent me spiraling. Again, it was a mistake to ask him to leave. And I did rectify that in the end. Now for the update. As mentioned in the original post, I did take leave of absence from work, and we spent a long time just being together, talking, reaffirming our love for one another, figuring out what to do next. We, of course, spoke with a lawyer. My husband was very adamant about not having anything to do with the child, but was willing to offer financial support as needed. So we agreed to do a DNA test immediately to prove paternity and go from there. Didn't know you can buy tests on Amazon with only a few weeks processing it. It was the easiest path forward. Okay, so everyone's surprised. Alice's daughter is not my husband. What?
My
The
meme
fuck?
is correct. The nurses be sluts.
oh no.
Oh, I so did not want Brad's meme to be correct.
Dude, this guy should have just
I was
kept
rooting
his-
for nurses
guy should
worldwide. I
just
just
kept
really
his
was.
mouth shut until
From
they took the
Amazon.
test.
I love
guy
nurses.
should've done
It's
nothing
just
until he-
funny for the moment and the joke. It is not.
Oh my god, Brett.
Oh,
That's
man.
it. You know what? You know what?
Basically,
More
just an
Republican.
affair without doing a DNA test.
We're sending nurses to El Salvador.
Oh, you said that. No.
Nope. That is the Republican way. I'm kidding. We're not going to talk about that right now.
Politics.
Oh dear.
Oh Jesus. Well, you know what? Good for her, I guess. Keep your husband. I hope it all works out. I think that this guy dodged a bullet. He 100% knew what was going on. If you ask my opinion, I think that he knew what the F he did.
Yeah.
And he was
gaslit
ready.
her so bad.
Yeah, he was ready for this to be his kid. And it ain't. What do I say to that?
He should have just kept his mouth shut the whole time until the test came back.
Oh. I feel like you ladies, Anita and Schnitzel, you girls are smart ladies. I know you both to be smart ladies. That's why you're on this panel. I don't feel like if you were confronted with this information the way that it was presented to this lady that you would be as forgiving. What say you to that?
Absolutely
Correct.
not. I'll be calling you. I'll be calling you for family.
Just hey, you got my number. Call me.
Yep.
Let us move on. You know what? This guy dodged a bullet. Good for him, man. Good for him. Whatever. Okay. How do I have 4 more? Jesus Christ. Oh, because I clicked on update. I should have only 3.
Oh, there was a funny update at the very end. It says, during my leave of absence, while my husband and I rediscovered what makes us love each other the most, I got pregnant. So now they're having their first baby.
Oh, wow.
But is it hers?
I would hope
Is
it's
it
hers.
Good question. Oh
Throwing it
boy.
out.
It'd be weird if it wasn't hers. What the fuck?
Yeah.
No,
Rob?
it was like
For a few months from now.
it was like one of the top 20 like dumbest questions that have been asked on the internet, and it was on like Quora.com.
Mine?
No, it said something like, I think my boyfriend cheated on me, so is my baby really his?
Jesus.
Well, you can't answer that question.
I've seen a meme like that said,
Oh, no.
I had a black child, so I accused my boyfriend of sleeping with a black girl. And it's like, wait, what?
Oh no.
I think what's worse is that these people are allowed to vote in America.
And allowed to have children.
What are you going to do? And they all voting for Trump. What are you going to do about that, Brad?
It's harder to adopt a dog than it is to have a child.
Is it?
Yes.
It's probably also harder to adopt a dog than it is to get a gun.
Wrong.
I
Probably
adopted
depends on
my
what
dog
state.
for like $100, man.
I'm to Arizona. I get you.
Well, I will say, if you go to a gun show and try and buy something, you are still filing out the background check and everything. So regardless, it is not as easy to buy a gun.
It's pretty easy, Brad. Like you do the background check and you pass and then you get one.
May depend on the state.
That's
I have a question about.
Do next year. I got to
Go for it. What's your question, Anita?
So I just about not the gun laws or anything, but I don't know how that works there. But so you can walk down the street and potentially somebody has a gun on them and you don't know, right?
Yeah.
Concealed carry, sure.
Oh, sorry.
Concealed carry. That's what it's
So
called.
there's some.
Yeah, I'm just trying to imagine, like like here, I live in Hungary. I don't live there.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see that. Oops, sorry, dropped my phone.
You're good.
Like walking down the street, because yes, but somebody has a gun who was not a police officer or anything. That's wild to me.
It's wild to me too.
But that's the thing, is that concealed carrying gives you don't know whether someone has it. So then that adds an extra layer of, well, if I'm going to commit a crime, then anyone in my vicinity potentially could return fire on me.
That is the theory.
That is the theory, and there's a lot of mass shootings that are stopped by good guys with guns, as it's known.
Honestly, I'll be honest. I don't know how I feel about that, because if like a robbery would break out at like my local Stater Brothers or something,
yep,
I'd prefer that people were concealed carriers that were like good guys that could take out the bad guys. But at the same time, there's pros and cons. I don't know where I fall on that line.
I also, MG
Sometimes-
law, I just got to disagree a little bit. I think it's bullshit that we're using laws from like 1776, the right to bear arms, or whenever the fuck the Constitution was signed, still
Yeah.
today in this modern world, because I think a lot of shit has changed, and that one is bullshit to me personally.
and
Well,
for
fuck
me,
free
just
speech
like-
because we're not using printing presses. I mean, come on.
I would just like to welcome MG Law because I like MG a lot.
Okay, it's
And,
not a political thing. It's just like I was
mean-
just curious
Yeah.
how it feels. I didn't mean to get some people.
No,
walking down
not
the
political.
street,
I was gonna say I was gonna try to shut down.
So
The
you say
Constitution
that
can be
you are
amended. It says a
carrying-
high bar.
I was really
I've
gonna
drank
try to
2
shut
of these
down.
so far, so
That's why Brad is all spunky.
No,
Sprunky.
just like just last thing about that, like when you say that, the other person, it's concealed because then the other person will not shoot because there's potentially the other one also carries, right? Is that what you said?
the flaw in that argument is that if a person's going to commit a crime, they're going to commit the crime whether anyone in the vicinity has concealed carry or not. But the other idea is that you're less those who are going to be deterred by the prospect of someone around them also having a gun would be turned away. But once you have that mens rea or the criminal mind that you're going to go do something, then whether or not someone is
Brad
concealed
dropping the
carrying,
mens rea, man. I like that, man. That got me aroused. He said mens rea.
whether
I
or
don't
not anyone around you has concealed carry is not going to dissuade
totally
you from it.
That's the legal way to carry a gun, but there are
first
plenty of
of all-
people that guns.
Anyway,
This
yeah,
is-
I get it. But
right?
just, okay,
This is
let's
FLAD.
go to cheating and everything. Thank you.
We are not going to have this discussion on FLAD.
Oh boy.
I'll shut up. Fine.
All
I'm
right.
sorry, I just wanted to know the feeling. I'll take it back.
No, well, every time after the show, we always like rip Brad a new one
I
because
feel
he's
like I was the instigator on that one, so I'll apologize.
Nice.
and Brad has some talking points now, and so he's trying to get him in. I'm just trying to not make this.
No, I was
political.
answering Anita's question on that one, but
He was.
everyone
To be
stay
fair,
tuned.
Brad,
Omar wants
Yeah.
to rip me a new one on a separate stream, so
Oh,
keep your
we've been
eye
talking
peeled for
about-
that.
Yeah, we've been talking about another political stream, but I don't want it to be like I'm going all in on Brad. Maybe I do, but we'll see.
You do. Don't even joke about that.
I'd have to bring MG Law in to
Need some debate
for you
rules
guys.
as a
You're gonna
moderator.
need some backup. I feel like we should bring in MG Law for backup. Anyway, another show. What are we doing right now? Let's go to the
Third story.
Can I
Alright,
run to the
first
bathroom
story.
real quick? Do you know how to? Do I do remove from stage and then
No,
we'll just
no,
Just
just
mute
hit
yourself.
stop cam and mute.
Yeah, just stop your cam.
Oh,
Also, you
Bob.
never have to ask me permission to pee. What the fuck?
I
Yes,
know. I
you
just
do.
didn't know how to.
Tinder merits.
There we go.
There you go, Rob. All right. Here's one. I guess we have the reverse of the previous scenario. So let me share my screen.
You can take down MG's comment too.
Oh, I'm sorry, MG. I love MG. I was on his show for his birthday,
Yeah.
and they accused me of hitting on MG
Oh man.
because I was jealous of his beard. I was like, if
Sounds about right.
I could grow a beard like MG, I would totally do it, but I can't. So
He's got a pretty epic beard.
yeah, it's an epic beard. I would totally grow a beard if I could, like that, Sons of Anarchy style, but I can't. So what are you gonna do? Hey, talk time with Amy, Boston, and Kelly with a 5 says, "Hey Omar, thanks for coming on tonight. I was on their show earlier this evening at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We were talking about the Karen Reed case. We were talking about the Laura Owens case. They're a brand new YouTube channel. They have I think 800 subscribers or so.
Oh wow.
They're trying to get monetized, and so go and join their show and subscribe. They got it. They have a pretty good thing going. They really do, and they're a lot of fun. They have fun with it. They may or may not be guests on FLAD in the future. We'll see.
Sweet.
We will see. But thanks, Boston and Kelly, Amy, Boston, and Kelly. That's been in the works for a while now. MG Law says, yeah, that was funny. Yeah, on his birthday, like he had all these dudes with beards. Like, you know what? Fuck all you guys, man. I can't grow a beard like that. I want to have a Viking beard. And anyway, never mind of that. Maybe I don't need a Viking beard. How about that? This person says mahalo. Who said mahalo?
Valhalla.
Was it? Oh,
Valhalla.
Valhalla. Valhalla. Okay.
Valhalla
Could I
sounds
just?
Hawaiian.
Valhalla is Viking-ish.
Viking-ish, yeah.
What's the Viking country?
The Sweden,
No,
Scotland,
Norway.
Norway, Sweden,
Norway.
Finland. What do you want?
Norwegian or something. I forget.
Italy.
Oh, boy.
Not Italy.
Norway.
Anita,
It's
help me
not
out.
Italy.
What is the country of Vikings?
It's Norway,
Norway.
Sweden, and Finland.
It's
The
Sweden,
Scandinavians.
Yeah,
Scandinavian. Unless you're thinking of Denmark.
Scandinavian is what it is. That's what it is. Scandinavian. Okay, so this lady, she's 24. She blacked out and slept with a C-suite executive. I don't know what C-suite means.
CEO, CFO, CIO.
Okay, so like one of the.
COO.
All right, who was 51 at work, and I have no idea how to proceed. I've never done anything like this. So please don't just tell me.
Get your settlement.
Damn it, Brad.
Oh, can I make one correction?
Yes.
C executive, when they have offices, they have a separate room which they can rest, relax, and all that. So that could be the executive suite next to their office. That's what I interpret that as. Because our corporate leadership had those.
Well, I run a firm, and I don't have a C room like that.
You need to get one.
Sounds like you're poor planning on that part.
Better not. You better not. You don't want to be one of these stories.
No, I would not be. Guy says, please, lady says, please don't tell me I've effed up by drinking. I know I did. Don't beat a dead horse. I usually don't drink at work, and everyone else does. And this time I think it was a combination of a bit of peer pressure. The fact that I'm going through a lot in my personal life. I'll never drink at work again. I'm an idiot. I get it. I work in a bit of a boys club environment where everyone goes out after big meetings and gets trashed. I'm the youngest by a long shot. I was hired because I wrote an influential paper that got a lot of traction. Everyone else is married or divorced. I've never slept with a coworker. And this is the first one night stand I've had in 4 to 5 years. I'm not this person. I want to pull this young lady aside and like give her a pep talk or something. Jesus Christ. I haven't spoken much or spent much time around this guy, but he's a C-suite exec at my work. We went out and I don't even remember talking to him. I talked to another friend of mine. The next day I asked a coworker how it was and said, the last thing I remember is sitting and talking with you. And he said, yeah, it was obvious. You got too drunk and you were kind of quiet and ready to go home. We all went back to the hotel and you sort of disappeared after that. Look, I've been in these situations. I've been at like the big executive parties. I've been at like the big hip hop style parties. And there's always a room full of women that have too much to drink. And there's really only one move if you're a certain kind of guy. You protect the women, make sure that they're asleep by themselves, that there's not any fucking creepers in the room, like to take advantage. And then you just kind of monitor the situation. That's it. There's always going to be women, especially the young ones, that are like having too much to drink and vulnerable or whatever. I can remember several.
CRD complaint. That's what I'm seeing here.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Sorry.
This might be a valid CRD complaint, you know? You never know. I'm just saying, look, if you see a woman like that, you got a choice. If you're not going to protect her, then what are you doing? You're taking advantage of her. If you're not taking her the opportunity to be taken advantage of, there's really only one move. If you have no ulterior motives, is to make sure that that lady gets through the night safe. And the house parties that I had, I could remember distinctly, even in my college years, like there would be like alcohol and all kinds of crazy alcoholic drinks. Be drunk off their ass. They would go and sleep in one room and the men would sleep in it. I remember distinctly there was this one guy that wanted to lay in the bed with one of like a friend of mine. It's like hell, you're going to lay in the bed with her. I was ready to fight that guy in my drunken state as like a 20-year-old or whatever I was, 19 or 20. And it didn't matter if I fought him or not. That's like he went somewhere else is the point. And so it's an environment where this young lady, clearly out of her depth, has had too much to drink. She's obviously very regretful of the situation. I'm not trying to absolve her of whatever fault people want to attribute to her. I'm just saying that there are situations where if you find women in this situation, you should do certain things. What do you men have to say about that?
I do what you did.
How would you act, Bruce and Brad, in like a situation where you saw a young lady alcoholically compromised and like some piece of shit like try to take advantage of her
What
in a
is the
very
context?
obvious way? Okay, so like she had too much to drink. Very clearly she had too much to drink.
Because here's my
She's
context.
not.
This is why I
Okay.
don't leave the house. Like I just don't.
Yeah, but she's in her young
don't go
20s. She's going to leave the
anywhere.
house a bit.
Where am
She doesn't
I?
have
Where
her.
am I where this is happening? Because I don't go anywhere.
Put yourself in like college.
Okay, I'm in the dorm and I'm writing code.
You're in the dorms. You're in the dorms.
My door is closed. I'm writing code.
Working
Next.
on your
What
thesis.
happened?
See, this is where I earned my White Knight merit badge and do exactly what you were doing to try and make sure that she was protected. And then I'd go ask her out the next week and be like, "Oh no, you're too much of a friend for that." And I'd be like, "Fuck."
You got friend zone, Brad.
That's what I wanted.
Brad's trying to be a player.
Oh, well, I mean, I think I feel like in that scenario, if you're cognizant, at the very least, you owe people, male or female, some level of protection to make sure they don't get taken advantage of. If you have the ability to like keep them in a room where they're safe by themselves,
I mean,
then
who's
great.
this person? Am I at like the restaurant? And
So she appears to be like it's some kind of like work party. There's alcohol.
Coworker after
There's
hours party.
C-suite level executives there that are taking advantage of. She has
I
no
guess-
recollection of coming back to. So let's read on.
Yeah.
Let's read on.
I mean, I guess if I was at a work party and there was some lady who was like drunk or appeared to have been drugged,
I can tell you,
try to help her because I'm a coworker.
it's some of my wife's Christmas parties that I was forced to attend. The wife of the CEO was getting a little bit sauced and putting herself in positions where I was like looking at her sideways, like, is she okay?
Uh-huh.
Like, does her husband know what she's doing right now?
Well, is he there?
He was there, and like, look, I don't want to. Whatever was going on, I didn't do.
Isn't it what he's supposed to do? Is it his house? Like,
I wasn't
need
really
to
concerned about the relationship. I was just concerned if she was like putting herself in a Jodie Foster position. You know what I mean?
Ooh,
You saw, you know that movie?
that's a harsh
No.
movie.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was envisioning.
I do.
There's like a really, I forget the name of the movie. What's the name of the movie, Rob?
Now I know. I remember now.
I know we know it because it's been popping up. lately.
Yeah, like this Jodie Foster where she basically gets gang raped by
Yeah.
in the
a
pool
group
hall.
of men. Yeah. And I was looking at it in that lens. But her husband like was fully aware. It's like, you know what? I guess. Whatever. And obviously she was safe. I'm just saying it was a I looked at it
accused.
sideways.
It was the accused.
The accused, that's what it
Yeah.
is. 1991.
I
or
mean, I don't know.
something?
If you
1990?
observe
88.
if you observe that a
88.
crime is about to occur, then you need to do something about it.
Well, that's kind of the point. Like you see a woman in that position compromise. It has nothing to do with anything else that you're trying to prevent a crime.
But if you can't determine that a crime is about to occur, I don't know what to tell you.
Well,
I
you should also have some common
it
sense,
really
though.
depends on the context
Right?
at
You
that
got
point.
peer pressure in the office, and they're like, "Come
Yeah.
on, dude, no big deal. I'm just going to take care of her." And you're like, "Don't trust you." I know.
Yeah, like if it's if
Right.
it's a pretty woman situation, it's like the guy's friend. He's like trying to like take advantage of the dude's girlfriend's like, yeah, like hell you are, dude. Get the fuck out of here. And then we would have words, and there would be like a different conversation because
Yeah,
it's clear what he's trying to do.
married wives, and from high level management to just other people, and
Yeah.
I never fell for it. It never felt right. I don't know if it's just the way I was raised or what, which I'm glad because I didn't need to be in a situation like that. So, but I've been there. It's kind of very uncomfortable because they're very, especially the higher corporate wives,
Yeah.
they have power, right? They have this power that their husbands have power. And I was like, you can give me your jewelry, but that's about it, you know.
No, I mean I don't know. I mean, I'm speaking strictly in terms of like safety of the lady that's compromised. Is all.
Yeah, mine's
So, Let's talk about, or let's keep reading. I haven't spoken much or spent much time around this guy. He's a C-suite exec. Went out, I don't remember talking to him. I talked to another friend of mine. The next day I asked my coworker, who's 48 years old, how it was, and said, the last thing I remember is sitting and talking with you. And he said, yeah, it was obvious you got too drunk. You were kind of quiet, ready to go home. We all went back to the hotel. You sort of disappeared after that. I have no recollection of coming back to the hotel. No recollection of talking to this guy at the bars, only before trying to get to know him a bit. I don't know if I initiated it, but that would be out of character. He's got a wife and kids. I was wearing a shirt that is difficult to unbutton sober, but I woke up in my own bed with it off. It seems like, based on text records, that this occurred maybe 3 a.m. or so. The next day, C-suite exec calls me and says I left something in his room. He says, be sure that I don't text him about this. Call him, tell him how good it was or anything, because he can't ruin his relationship with his wife. He said this all has to be kept a secret. He said he will discreetly give me back my item the next time we see each other later this month. What the hell do I do? Part of me wants to ask him what happened. I'm dying to know. I can't stop thinking about it. Anita, I got to ask you and Schnitzel, put yourself in these young lady's shoes. She's 24 years old, and she's genuinely, if I'm to take her to word, doesn't remember what happened. What is going through your mind in this scenario?
I have had only one blackout ever from drinking, and that's when I was drugged, by the way. And that's when I immediately went to the test to see if I was drugged, because I've never had a blackout before. And especially like if it suddenly disappears, like from one point to another, that usually is very unusual. So I would do that. I'll go get tested and see if there's anything, and then proceed with that to see, because then that's a completely different case.
Yeah. What do you think about that, Schnitzel?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I've never, to my knowledge, been through anything like that. So I would defer to like advice from someone who has experienced potentially something similar.
That's rough, man. I mean, I've never been in an experience where I just don't remember like a sexual encounter. I don't believe I've ever been in this scenario.
Rape kit? Go to the hospital or whatever, or emergency room and say, I need a rape kit.
You'd have to first come to the realization that you've been raped, and they might not come until like years later.
Wow.
Actually,
they
my
might never
friends
test
made
it.
me go. Like I told them, like I went on a date, and then I told my friends, I was like, I don't know what happened. Like we were having fun, and then from 2 glasses of wine, I didn't remember anything. And that doesn't happen. I still have quite a high tolerance, especially wine. No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
And then they said that we went to the clinic here, like they have this free one you can do, and they did a blood test and the rape kit thing as well. I mean, I'm not gonna say anything, but then you get the test and then you can decide what to do. Luckily, nothing bad happened in that sense, from what I understood, but I was definitely drugged. And I had gone to the bathroom for 10 minutes and my wine was there, so definitely. Anyway.
Interesting.
I'm sorry that happened to you.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. It's okay. I mean, so I was lucky that nothing bad happened in that sense, according to the kit.
Yeah.
Have any of you men been drugged?
No.
All right. So let's move on.
By someone else or by themselves?
I mean, obviously, never mind.
I was at I think it was like a birthday party
okay,
at a
Bruce, you can
dive
tell
bar. I was
just
at a birthday party at a dive bar, and I think it was weird because I had I don't know what I had, like old fashioned, a whiskey drink or something at the dive bar, 1 or 2. I feel like I only had 1 though, and it was like that shouldn't have like made me super drunk or anything, but I got real, like I thought I was gonna pass out or like black out or something. But I also ate the dive bar potato salad.
Son of a bitch, Brad.
So I feel
Never
like
eat the dive bar potato salad.
I feel like it might be the dive bar potato salad. But going through my mind when I was I locked myself in the bathroom for a while because also I thought I was going to puke, but I didn't puke.
Could I just make a
But
PS announcement?
Yeah.
Dive bars are not for food. If you order food at the dive bar, you do so at your own risk.
I know, dude.
That
I
is
know
all.
that now. I'm older and wiser now. I'm just telling you what happened.
That
I eat at home.
But
before
running
I-
through my mind, I was like, was there something bad in my drink or something? Or like, why? But like, nobody would have, I don't know. Nobody was there that would have wanted to
Isn't
drug me
alcohol
out.
bitter?
All
That
right.
was weird.
Let's
I can
lighten
almost
up the mood.
guarantee
I
you-
have a question. Like,
What's
what
the-
like everybody has that threshold, right? They get really drunk. What is that thing that they do? Like that's a sign that this is your limit. What is your move when you're
Throw
that
up.
drunk?
Oh, well, I think that I don't know, man. I don't really get. I don't think that I know that I'm overly drunk until I throw up, and that rarely ever happens. Like it hasn't happened in years. Like my mood doesn't really change, or maybe it does. I don't know, but it just I don't really know in the moment when I am. What would you guys say to that? It's a good
Yeah.
question.
I remember I was so depressed and lonely that I was doing shots of Jameson until I threw up, and that was a terrible experience.
Oh, that was your first
Ew.
mistake, sir. Jameson. What the fuck? Not even Black Barrel, huh?
Not even
Worse.
anything, good, but it was one, it was trying to prove to myself, because in knowing people around drinking culture, Jameson was considered like, it's a whiskey and I gotta be able to drink whiskey straight up. So I was doing shots of it and then I ended up throwing up, but
Did it
That
put
was-
hair on your chest?
not enough.
That's all right. That's a myth. Whiskey does not put hair on your chest.
I was on a whirly ball, a wally ball. It's
A whirly ball.
Yeah, wally ball. It's volleyball in a racquetball court.
Okay.
It was a weekly thing we used to do, and a lot of fun. Well, this guy jumped to block my shot over the net and landed on my ankle. Broke my ankle.
Mm.
I get to go to the hospital. 3 a.m. They tell me I fractured it. They cast me up. A day or two later, I'm at my friend's house. His whole family's there, and we're drinking white wine. Now I'm Italian, and I like red wine. So what's wrong with white wine? I don't remember. The next
no.
morning, I wake up on the couch, and my cast has everything under the sun written all over it. Marker, crayon, swear words, pictures of skulls. I have no recollection. And that was very weird to me. I just remembered that story. But yeah, I was safe, thank God. I hope I
Yeah.
was. But yeah, the cast was pure white and came the next morning. It was all drawn on. And it's white wine. It's not a potent liquor or liqueur.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But white wine, pound for pound with red wine, is basically the same thing, is it not?
I thought so, but I have kidney stones for like over 30 years. I get them periodically, and
Hmm.
I drink red wine periodically, but I don't know
Yeah,
which
you-
one works for me. But
Rob, you
I'll
got
tell
to do some squats, man. You got to do some squats. You got to do
Oh.
some cardio.
you, I need some kidney punches. That would help.
No,
I had a
that wouldn't
kidney
help.
stone one time.
Stay away from it. I just don't even.
Did you get a kidney stone? Really?
In 9th grade, I had one. Yep.
Oh my God. What
Just
were
one
you
though.
going
Never
through in
had one.
ninth
And I
grade?
found out I have 3 kidneys.
Oh,
How the
what?
fuck do you have 3 kidneys? You got like an alien kidney?
One is half the size of a regular kidney, but it's fully functioning according to the doctor. But
So you
I
got like
got
a
a bunch of
readily made donor kidney just ready to go?
I would
Kidneys.
donate.
That's like 20 grand just hanging
Yeah,
out.
I'll
in
be
your-
right back. I'm
I would
filling my
donate like
bathroom with
a
ice
like
right now.
my
Be right
I
back,
would
guys.
donate a full one, and then sorry, I just talked over Bruce. I guess what are you doing?
No, I was
look,
I was just
to,
going to
the-
fill my bathtub with ice to steal your kidney.
Oh,
to Brad's point, 20 grand is now worth like 10 grand because of Trump's tariffs. So
or
how about that, bitch?
well, I'll save it in case my I don't know anyone I know and love in my life needs one.
Oh, well, just save it. Just, you never
I'm
know.
gonna save it.
You never know. I only have 2 kidneys, by the way. So, and 2 testicles for now. So I guess
2 tubes, 2 testicles.
I got,
We'll
I
still
got 2.
have them, Omar. They just won't be connected to anything.
Well, that just sounds not ideal. I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see.
Fine.
All right, folks, I got time for one more because we've been going for an hour and 49 minutes. Rob, thank you for coming on the show, man. You've done a wonderful job so far, man.
Thank you.
I appreciate your expertise, and I appreciate that I could reference old movies with you because none of these other fuckers knew what I was talking about when I would talk about old movies.
Yeah, I usually get your references, Omar.
That's true. That's true. Bruce normally gets it. Brad is... Yeah,
But you're
Brad
right.
is hit and miss.
This was a rough one for
What about me?
Initiate Rob here.
I don't know. Schnitzel's is like
I love trivia.
Schnitzel's hit and miss, man, as far as my movie references. We'll see. But I'll tell you that Rob hit me with something that I didn't know about. The 1982 Robin Williams one. I didn't know what the fuck that was.
Worth watching. It's kind of interesting. There's actually transgender John Lithgow.
Wow.
A football player male that wants to be female. So even back then, it's been happening all along, right? Just not as prevalent as.
Oh,
today.
you're just describing John Elway.
Yeah, well, Bruce Jenner. Bruce Jenner.
No, he was a swimmer. He was not a NFL quarterback.
A
He was a
swimmer.
runner.
Oh my god.
By the way, I still got I got my race coming up with Lauren. I got to
You're
tell
gonna
you,
lose.
Oh God.
I have no idea how to train for wrestling. I imagine you got to jump in the pool. I have not. I'm going to get my ass kicked.
Hold off on the circumcision.
I am training for a wrestling match. It's the only way I know how to train.
You have to.
We'll see how it goes.
Down, brother.
Oh boy. Hey, so I got these two. Do y'all want to talk about this lady asked, am I the asshole for yelling at my wife when she didn't back me up? Or should we talk about this one? Why would he wait until I was married? I will poll the panel.
Wait, what is the second one?
Yeah.
Second one is why would he wait until I was married?
Oh, it
and
might have been
pregnant?
someone
do
like
what?
saying they're in love with them, and then but like she's already been married and pregnant.
I see.
That's
one.
exactly what it is. You know
Yeah,
what? Let's
I want
do
that one.
All right, let's do that one. The other
Sorry,
one's
Rob.
just funny because it's emasculating a never mind. I'm going to get myself in trouble.
Oh no.
That's
I've
the whole
already
point of
canceled
the
myself.
show is that you're getting yourself in trouble.
I'm just saying the guy's a little effeminate. He's
I'm in
he's a,
No, you may not talk about that one.
why not?
Cutting you off.
Jesus.
This one?
There's some areas that my audience
have a
will not
super
allow
chat.
me.
Your toxic masculinity can't come through. That's what she's.
We got to
Aquanetta
cut
says-
Omar off before he gets him cut off. Oh boy.
Aquanetta says FLAD is awesome tonight, going 6 deep and is very lubricated.
Oh
Who's
dear.
going?
I love Aquanita. Aquanita. Right?
Who's going
She's
6
wonderful.
deep?
She's been
6
all
fingers? Oh boy.
We're
Oh,
six
I think-
people deep and extra lubricated. That's the point.
I just want to point out for the record, 6 fingers deep is basically.
I didn't say 6 fingered. It's good
That's a
God.
lot of booze.
Is that
That
that's
was-
like that's a polydactyl cat?
What
Yeah.
the fuck is
That's
polydactyl?
whiskey. Yeah.
6 fingers deep is basically 3 doubles. That's 6 shots of whiskey.
Yeah.
Aquanetta is lit right now. I'm just gonna point that out.
Polydactyl cat. That's how I'm going to order all my booze from now on at the bar.
I have consumed an entire bottle of Pinot Grigio.
That's not
Bullshit.
how you pronounce it. Ask Rob.
How do you pronounce Pinot Grigio?
It's called blah.
You know, great.
Schnitzel, how do I pronounce this? Tell me.
Grigio, not Grigio.
Pinot Grigio.
There you go.
Pinot Grigio.
The GR.
Grigio. Like jealous. The j sound.
Good
Pinot Grigio. Pinot Grigio.
Oh, Grigio.
You should
I
get
just
some
said it like a
Oregon
gringo.
Pinot Gris.
Can you say bastardo?
But started though.
There you go.
Fucking Luca.
So
Luca.
basta
Luca's that movie.
in Italian, basta means enough.
Yes,
You
basta.
could say basta with the pasta.
Hey, Rob. When you make a pasta carbonara,
Yes.
do you put cream in it?
That's a requirement.
Yes. Or you could
You
it
do. No
Yeah.
shit.
with cream. Yeah.
Oh, sacrilege to your country, sir.
Who was originally from Italy till she came here and became nationalized citizen. So
I'll tell you how. Okay, I'll tell you what.
the language
I've-
and the recipes.
I've gotten a lot of shit for making my carbonara with the cream, with the heavy cream, but it's fucking delicious.
Since
Okay.
who?
Let me
So
teach
I'm-
you a phrase you can tell people. Ma vai in figa tomare. That means, can I get this in the game?
Yes.
Back vajay. Ma vai in figa tomare. That's what instead of the FU. So people who don't understand, you want to throw them an Italian phrase. That's pretty nasty.
I'm gonna have to practice that one. I'm not gonna try to
I'll
pronounce
make
that right now.
I'll add it to your soundboard.
I'll tell you what, this is how I make my carbonara. I boil the pasta in a beef stock or a chicken stock because it gives it extra flavor. Season it obviously with salt and whatever. And then I make the carbonara sauce with 600 grams of pasta, 6 egg yolks, and 1 egg white. I mix it. I score the sauce with some pasta water. Parmesan, lots of pepper, and then some heavy cream because it's freaking delicious. I know it's not traditional, but it's delicious. And
It's not
it's
a
big hit.
dietary's dream, right? If someone on a diet probably wouldn't want to eat it, but you and I, man, that tastes good, doesn't it?
Hell yeah. If I was making a vegan version,
You're
I'd have to leave
supposed to
out the-
rely on the creaminess of the egg.
Yeah, you yes.
Traditionally.
I'll
If you're
tell you
using
what.
like a duck egg, maybe.
No. Schnitzel is
Fridge
right.
egg.
You're not supposed to use heavy cream. You're supposed to rely on the creaminess of the yolk of the egg. And it's supposed to be this cream. And I've made it both ways, but god damn it, with the creamer it's just so much more dynamic. It's better. It's just better.
Well, there's so many villages in over in Europe, Omar, that everybody has their own slant on these
Yeah.
recipes, right?
Depending, on
And
which town you're in.
Sicilian versus the northerns,
I just know that I will never again let an Italian tell me that I'm not making traditional carbonara because my version is just way better. Fuck off. How about that?
That's my phrase. That's the phrase you can use that I just.
I'm just gonna
I'm gonna-
interject here, just like
Yes, ma'am.
The whole idea of Italian cuisine is that you need the simplest ingredients that are the highest quality, so you don't need all these additional things.
Exactly.
So
Exactly. Anita, you're a lady after my own heart. Marco Pierre White, he is a 3-star Michelin chef. He's the greatest chef of the 20th and 21st century. And what he says is, look, when I was young, I tried to do all this advanced stuff and I was really ambitious in my cooking. But god damn it, as I've gotten older and better as a cook and better as a chef, simplicity is best. Simple ingredients. Perfection is lots of little things done well. You chop the onions finely and perfectly. You grill them perfectly and finely, just reducing them just enough to take the acidity out of the onions to allow the sugars to come forth and then accentuate the natural sweetness of the onion. And then you add the garlic. And then you add the whatever. And then you add the stuff. And then you layer things so it doesn't just become all one flavor. And it's all very simple. And anybody could do it. And that is cooking.
And it's
Marco
playful.
Pierre White, man. I'll tell you what. Marco Pierre White is my dad, in case you didn't know. I learned how to cook
see
from
the
him.
paternity test.
Well, all right. Let us get into this case. Jesus Christ. All right. Why would he wait until I was married? You know what? This kind of ties into what we were talking about last week, Brad. You remember?
God, no.
When we were asked about dating advice, my advice was to date selfishly
Yep. I remember that.
and to go after all of the people that you thought you couldn't get because they're out of your league. Go after the 10s, go after the 9s, go after the 8s, go after the whatever you want. Be selfish in what you want and date selfishly.
But
Because
don't be
in
a
the course
dick.
of that- Yeah, don't be a dick about it, or be a dick about it. But
No,
there's going to
don't do
be
that. Don't be a dick. Don't be rude.
well, but here's my theory. There's
But
going to be
being
a
a dick
point in
brings you the
time.
women. That's the problem.
Oh,
There's going to be a point in time when you're going to be willing to compromise with the right one, and that's when you'll know that the person that you want to marry is the one for you. when you're willing to stop being selfish and give to them. But it will be like this natural thing that occurs out of merit, not out of like this idealistic version of like Disney marriage, where you just meet and like the true love's kiss, and then you live happily ever after in this castle, and all of these like helper animal friends help you to like construct dresses and stuff and cook extravagant meals, like in Beauty and the Beast and Cinderella.
That sounds like your theory is from the movie A Beautiful Mind with Russell Crowe.
It is not. Nope. I know that theory.
You know what I mean?
Oh boy.
Because you don't go after the main hottie, you go after the other ones, and then
No,
Go for
my theory
friends.
yeah,
my theory is opposite. My theory is opposite. I know what he said. Don't go for the 10, you go for the 9.
right. He got a Nobel laureate
Right?
in economics. Yeah.
Yeah. My theory is fuck all of that. Go for the 10. Why don't you test the limits of what you can get?
I'm submitting you. You're getting a Nobel in this year.
I'm just saying, look, do not be timid in your youth.
Yes.
If you're timid in your youth, you have doomed yourself to a lifetime of settling. And that's no way to live.
and
test
don't
your
feel
limits.
bad about rejection. It happens.
For sure. Look, I have this theory. This is my theory. Everybody in the world, if you were to rate them on a 1 to 10 scale, is a 6. But in the lens of subjective people, 6s sometimes become 10s. 10s sometimes become 3s. And how in the F are you going to know what your flavor is? But for going after the things that you desire the most.
Right.
If
And
you
what
settle
is
in
a
your youth,
look, intelligence, right? There's a lot of I know.
yeah, there's a lot, bro. I have dated. I dated a lot.
Aisles of women I picture, you know.
Yeah, I've been rejected. I've had successes. I've dated ugly women. I've dated beautiful women. I have dated smart women. I've dated stupid women.
Yep.
I have dated the gamut. I have gotten a firm understanding of what it is that makes me, appreciate the opposite sex, the things that I'm attracted to.
Yeah.
The only way I could have possibly got there is by having some balls and going after the things that I was attracted to. If you fail to do that, then you doom yourself to a life of settling. And life is too short
Yeah.
to
Because
dance with ugly
You don't want
women.
to become
And you
reckless.
don't want to
either.
live that life.
You don't want to be a jerk and
It's
or be
settling the
reckless.
extra month.
If you're going to be reckless, do it in your 20s when you don't have anything. But don't be reckless in your 30s and 40s when you have something to lose and they have something to gain. I guess would be
If your selfishness is
corollary.
improving well-being, then that's fine. But if your recklessness is decreasing well-being for you or others, then you've gone too far.
That's good shit, Bruce. That is good. We should have had you on the show last week. I feel like you were saving that answer for. That's true. But what I'll add to that is this. You go after the things that you want. You go after the things that you need. But you're not going to have an understanding of what that is unless you have failed multiple times. And the only way that you can fail is by going after those things that you aspire to have that are above your perceived pay grade. How in the F do you know what is the perceived pay grade? How do you know that you can't get
What's
that
You
lady?
can learn by failing and trying again. You can learn by succeeding and not having to try again. As long as you're learning, yeah. And to learn, you have to have experience. The trick is not to be too, don't break the law, don't be a jerk,
right?
but go have experience and try to improve. It's all about improving well-being, basically.
Be selfish, don't be a jerk.
And also rejection doesn't mean it's about you. It's just that there's 7 billion people, 8. And
Yep.
everybody is not everybody's cup of tea. And it's
I
not
was-
about you. Just like you
Oh,
may
yeah.
not be attracted to somebody doesn't mean they're bad. So just because somebody's not attracted to you doesn't mean you're not worth it or something.
Some of those
was
alien
just
people are
saying
doing
this.
really weird things right now.
Yeah. No, for sure. Look, I don't know if you're a believer in soulmates or not. I don't know what I believe is to that. I just know that the only way to learn what you like, the only way to know what you're willing to sacrifice for and a compromise for, is to put yourself out there and put yourself out in front of the full spectrum of women. Because the truth is, if you date and you settle without ever trying to go for, what your top choice was, you're going to have some resentment built into your soul somewhere that's going to manifest later
And
in the form of what were you saying, Rob? You said something important.
It ends up on Reddit.
Exactly.
I wouldn't even call it a top choice. That's a little dismissive. It's more you have to figure out what's right for you and learn what's right for you.
When I was a boy, I believed that I was entitled to the most attractive women that I could find. I believe that. And I went after that when I was 14. I've told this story before, like how I went up to like the most beautiful girl in school, like the homecoming queen. She was a senior. I was a freshman. And I asked her to be my girlfriend. And she like patted me on the head like I was a dog. She was like, "Oh, you sweet little boy.
Aren't you
don't even
cute?"
know what you're doing." Yeah, and it was a lesson. What did I learn from that? I'm not entitled to anything. I'm not entitled to shit. Like, you don't have any business asking for those kinds of things unless you bring something to the table. It was a very important lesson that I learned at 14, but it was a result of a failure. You don't have to fail to learn anything. You don't. I'm just saying it really helps. It really helps. And it really helps you to reconcile who you are as a partner and what you demand in a partner and what you could let go as a partner. Like some people, look, your partner's never going to be a perfect thing. Never. There are going to be things about them that you hate. The question is whether or not you can live with it or not. Sometimes the answer is yes, and sometimes the answer is no. And how could you possibly answer that question without having run the full gamut of options that you had because you were bold enough to confront those challenges?
Point of order. If you run the full gamut of things and then have those expectations of what your relationship could be, but your partner does not see things in such ways, could that not run afoul of your relationship?
What do you mean your partner does not see things the way that you do?
Because if you have experienced many different things of the world and different cultures, different ways of things being done that others may not find palatable in modern society, could you not grow the resentment that you had mentioned because you are placing your expectations of what you want out of your partner?
My personal opinion on that, and I don't speak for all men. I don't speak for anybody. I speak for myself. My personal opinion of that is whatever it is that you are, however you define yourself, whatever that you aspire to be, whatever you desire in life, if you're ashamed of it and not unabashedly forthright with it with your partner because you're afraid of what she might or he might think, then they ain't worth keeping around. Because you accept your partner for all of their strengths and all of their weaknesses, all of the things that they are praised for and all of the things that they are scorned for. And if you can't do that, then they ain't the right one. And that's just life. And part of that is going through the rigmarole of putting that person through those tests. Is your partner going to be there for you when you have MS? Is your partner going to be there for you when you have debilitating cancer? Are they going to be there for you when you have Lou Gehrig's disease? Are you going to be there for them when they have the same? And if the answer is hesitation, I think you have to question whether or not you have the right partner or not. Because the art of finding a life partner is not just settling for who they are. Of course, everybody settles to a certain degree. whoever it is that you're with, they have strengths, they have weaknesses. Nobody is, even Aquaman has weaknesses. You sacrifice for them because they're meaningful to your life. And you sacrifice for them because you find value in how you have built your life together. And you disregard the things where they fall short. And that's how you find a life partner that is worthy of keeping around. And that's how you find security in a relationship with somebody that you choose to be a life partner with, because you know that they're going to have your back under similar circumstances. And not everybody is worthy of that. They certainly are not. And too many people, I find, when they come into my office, have settled for people that are not that person. And they find themselves at a precipice, and there is nothing of worth keeping them there. And so then they leave. What does that mean? Does it mean they chose the right person? Does it mean that they settled for the person? Does it mean, I don't know what it means. I just know this. You should date selfishly until you find the person that you're willing to compromise for, respectfully. Not give away your self-respect.
And you don't mean
compromise for them.
selfishly as it's all about me and getting laid. You don't mean it like
Exactly.
that. Right.
You,
So-
in other words, somebody you're willing to give up your life for. Is literally what I mean.
And I know from Schnitzel's past comments in the months, longer than months that I've listened to her, she talks about communication between people, right?
Yeah.
You got to communicate. You got to talk. You got to share. You got to get to know. You got to tell them each other things so that you do bond and learn and understand what you can and cannot. You know what I mean? Right, Schnitzel?
That's right.
If you want.
What are you smoking, Rob? I've never heard her say anything like that.
Oh, please. I made it up. I just want to bring her in the conversation. But yeah, she's like a communication expert to me. She's like, I want to know every detail. I'm not going to hold a grudge. I just need to understand because I need to comprehend all of it. Right? You remember that, Schnitzel? You talked about
Yes,
it.
and I've made so many mistakes that I have finally gotten to this point.
Yeah, learning from that.
Mhm.
So
What do y'all
comment-
think of?
Oh,
This is
Schnitzel
law
and Omar, I think that really builds a good way to progress in your life, you know?
Mhm.
Anita, what do you think of all of this? This talk about finding your life
up and-
partner, dating selfishly, and all of that.
I'm all for it. So I don't know. It just sounds good. I have no-
Bruce
I don't
says,
object.
"Eat nuts and kick butts."
Or eat
Dang.
butts
Yeah.
and kick nuts.
We have a side convo going.
Eat butts and kick nuts. Exactly.
Oh boy.
You just see Bruce's recipe, fried
Omar,
rice.
why are we?
You- two ingredients, fried and rice.
Yeah,
And actually,
One
I have
thing
to
that's
it's
run.
simple.
My son woke up.
Uh-oh.
Oh
Why-
boy.
My husband
Why are we
can't
on
do
your
anything
law
else.
school portal, Omar? What's going on? Are you applying to law school finally?
Am I applying to law school? No.
Yeah.
Hi,
Nice
guys.
meeting you, Schnitzel.
Why is this
In
on
my
the screen?
nightmares, maybe.
Fun.
What are we looking at?
All right, let's
Why is
oh
that
Jesus
all-
Christ, what is that?
Her kid woke up.
All right. Well, let's get in. Well, shit. I accidentally clicked out of the thing that I was supposed to do. Let me get back into that.
Yeah.
It was this lady that no, it wasn't her. It was
I mean, if you need a
Why-
law school
Woman
recommendation,
and
I'll
she's
give you one.
pregnant in parentheses.
oh, I certainly don't. May have cheated, I'm divorcing, something. Well, all right. So I don't want to talk about this guy that his wife didn't back him up at the pool. What was I doing before that? Before that, it was,
It was
Hey.
why did he wait so long to do something or tell
yeah.
us something? That's the one we never even read it.
I remember they were pregnant.
I know we got into this whole like sidetrack without even reading the thing. You wait so long. Okay. No, all right. I gotta go back into my internet history to find this one.
Go for it.
Hey, Rob, tell me a story.
So in 9th grade, I thought this cheerleader was really cute. And I thought I knew her in junior high. So I did what you did. I said, "Hey, Diane, do you want to go to?" Oops, no names. Hey, Dee,
Oops.
do you want to go homecoming with me? Will you allow me to take you to homecoming? She goes, "Well, if the quarterback doesn't ask me, then sure, I'll go with you."
Oh boy.
I felt about
What?
That's some.
She was waiting for the quarterback on the football team to ask her as a cheerleader to go to the homecoming dance. So the hilarious part is we ended up going to sophomore homecoming and junior year homecoming and prom junior year homecoming and prom for senior year. So he and her didn't work out, is what I'm saying. But I was crushed. Like, I did what you did. I strived for up here, and I was dropped down here feeling wise, right? But I didn't give up. I was pretty proud of myself to not give up. And we reconnected at the 40th reunion. She lives in Michigan in Battle Creek, Brad.
Okay. Yeah.
She's in the Battle Creek area. And
Robert, are
I'm
you in
here.
Michigan?
So we do
No,
phone calls.
he's in Arizona.
Oh, he did say.
So I know a lot about it. Love the Canton Police Department.
Canton.
Opinion.
I know one of Canton. It's in Ohio.
Oh boy.
Oh, well, Karen Reed. That's where the whole thing happened there. So,
Oh, that's where the NFL Hall of Fame is, sir.
Nice. Well, that'll be.
All right, let us get into this. Hey, Anita, how you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm just
I'm just making
listening.
sure she's still
I'm
awake.
here. I just don't have anything valuable to add right now, so I'm just listening.
I completely understand your
None of us
sentiment right
do.
now. By the way, let's get into this. Let us get into this. All right. Why would he wait until I was married and pregnant to say anything? So this happened a few years ago. I still think about it and wonder why. I'm hoping maybe someone can help me understand. She's 35, have had a crush on this guy we'll call V since I was a little girl. He never gave me the time of day. I tried flirting with him when I got older. He would always shut it down. After getting rejected a few times in my late teens, early 20s, I accepted it was never going to happen and moved on. I met a guy in college. I fell in love. Moved away for almost a decade. V and I stayed in touch for a while, platonically, of course, until I deleted my Facebook. Anyway, cut to a big fat Latino wedding where V and I
Good Lord.
are both guests. Why's it got to be Latino wedding? That's racist. It's not. I'm married now, and so is V. I introduce him to my husband. He introduces me to his wife. They have 2 kids. Look like a nice family. The party goes on into the late hours. V's wife eventually leaves with the kids, and my husband was wasted, sleeping it off at a table. V approaches me. I can tell he's a little bit drunk. I caught him staring earlier during dinner, but I wasn't expecting what came next. He told me he's had a crush on me for years and had always hoped we could have been something one day. It was the moment I had been dreaming about for years, except I was now married. And unbeknownst to anyone else at the wedding, 8 weeks pregnant. I told him how I wish he had told me this years ago. Asked him why he never said anything. He shrugged and made a dumb joke. Then he asked me to dance with him, literally the moment I've dreamed of since I was like 12. I looked over at my sleeping husband and felt really guilty. I don't remember exactly what I said, but I told V I couldn't dance. Made an excuse so I can leave. I haven't really talked to V since that happened, but he did add me on IG. He looks at all my stories and occasionally leaves a friendly platonic comment on a post. Mind you, I don't post thirst traps. It's mom stuff, like my kid, maybe a selfie with the girls at brunch.
Ooh.
I'm currently separated for unrelated reasons, and I won't lie, V pops into my mind from time to time. He's really hot and pretty much everything my soon-to-be ex wasn't. However, he's still married, so I'm going to leave that alone. Anyway, why did he wait so long to tell me? Why would he reject me when I was younger? Can anyone relate? Too long didn't read. I thought my childhood crush was into me, so I moved on. Wasn't into me, so I moved on. He waited until I was married and pregnant to tell me he's always had a crush. Why would he do that? Could I just answer the question emphatically? Because he was a little bitch.
You're letting your toxic masculinity get through, Gomar.
Because he was
Maybe
drunk.
that's the only correct answer to that question. Because he was scared.
Because he was drunk.
Maybe. Hey, Kelly, Steffi, time.
He
She
didn't
says,
mean
that's
it.
why
He
he
didn't mean it, by the way. He was
No.
just drunk and in the moment. I don't believe that.
well, I meant what I said.
Right.
He meant what he said. 100% he did. I don't care if he was drunk. He said what he meant. He should have said it years ago.
That's
But he
what you-
didn't.
Yeah.
Because he was afraid of rejection, because he was afraid of whatever. That's the danger of not going after the things that you want and for settling. That's the penalty. You get to wonder what could have been. And you get to live with it for the rest of your life. That's honestly, that's the consolation prize to bravery and valor is to settle for the things that you could have been had you only had any measure of the two. And by the way, Kelly Steffi with the 5 says that talk time with Amy, Boston, and Kelly. In high school, I had a guy come up to me in hall and say, "Your sister is so hot. What the happened to you?" What the fuck?
Damn.
Rude.
That
Fuck
is
that
rude.
guy. That's what a piece of shit. After I graduated, he saw me and asked me out. Maybe he was like negging you or something. Maybe it was like, the way to win her affections is to put her down. There was this whole red pill generation that is subscribed to that ideology.
I don't understand why this lady is posting on Reddit. Like, who gives a shit? Like, she's at some wedding, everybody's drunk. She just blocked this guy on Instagram and like live her life.
Kelly, Steffi, thank you so much for the 5. And by the way, go check out. I left a link on my Karen Reed video to the show that I was on with them. She has a really good thing going right now for a YouTube channel. I was a guest on there for like 50 minutes today, almost an hour, talking about Karen Reed and Laura Owens and all kinds of stuff. Go check them out. They're up and coming. They're doing really well. They got a good thing going. Talk time with Amy in Boston. Hey, Omar, thanks for coming on today. Amy, thank you so much for the 5. And it was my pleasure. I had a blast on your show. I should put a link in the comments and pin it so people can go visit your show. They deserve way more than like 800 subscribers. They need to be monetized, like forthwith.
Hurry.
Oh, this was the same one. Yeah. Anita, what do you think of all of that? What do you think about a guy that waits until like your wedding when you're 8 weeks pregnant with your child to tell you, "Oh, I've always had a crush on you for like the last 10 years."
Wedding.
She was at the same wedding.
Was it a random wedding or was it their wedding?
It was a mutual friend's wedding, right?
Oh, okay. All right. Well, still.
Oh my gosh.
I misread that one. Full stop.
Reality-wise, how I am, I think I would laugh, but like this is gonna sound mean, maybe.
Yeah.
But I would laugh not at them. I would just like the situation. That what are you talking about? How long has it been?
So what are you gonna do about it now? You know, I'm 8 weeks pregnant. I'm married. What do you want? What do you want?
Like how's that even a question? Like what do you expect me to do? Thank you. That would be like, thank you.
Right.
Appreciate it.
He's expecting like the Pam and Jim romance from The Office or whatever.
Yeah, I think yeah. I'm
I don't
a
think
bit
that's
more cold-hearted, maybe. But
yeah. But look, life is a series of opportunities. They open and they close pretty much every day. You either take advantage of the opportunities placed in front of you or you don't. And when you don't, and you try to open doors that have since been closed, but that were previously open for you, I guess the penalty for that is like eternal solitude and pondering
suffering
what might have been.
yeah, maybe I don't have that thing with me. Like usually I go through a phase, I guess, if something is unresolved, but I never let it linger like for 20 years or something. That's just not an option in my mind, or not a possibility. I can't imagine being married but then having a question mark about somebody else.
I could tell you this: the one thing that I'm proud of in my life, one of the things that I'm proud of in my life is that I always was not chicken shit to take my shots, man. I took my shots, and I missed or I scored, whatever. But I took my shots, and I learned a lot about myself in taking chances. Sometimes when you're playing chess, you can play it safe, or you can make sacrifices, and it's up to you to determine when to punch and when to pull. But if you never punch, then God damn it, I guess you get what the universe has left over. You take what you want, or you get what's left over. That's really the sloppy seconds, maybe. And so let that be a lesson to y'all. Do you know we've been streaming for 2.5 hours now? Jesus Christ.
It's because you're that good.
Yeah.
Time flies.
Oh, I've been streaming since I feel about noon today. 7 hours? Jesus.
You have been, be honest.
Panel, I think I'm gonna wrap it up right here. Rob, you were awesome today, man. You're welcome back anytime.
Thank you.
We could always use another male perspective. Of course, Anita, you've been amazing. You were the yin to Schnitzel's yang.
Yep.
And
I
then she
think
left
really
me. And then she left me.
About the timeline stuff too. It is great when you and Anita stream. I love that.
Yeah, Anita's a rock star, man. Whenever I talk about the lively case, she's got that case down, pal. We got to do some more streams about that, Anita. I got some more stuff to talk about.
You just get a little scent of anger or frustration, right? She's like, and they did it.
I apologize for that. When I listen back to my streams, and I'm like, oh my god, poor Omar. And people who know the details of the case, they get me, but Omar, I can see him processing his face.
Yeah. So I was like, what? No, because like I look at it like for the law, and then like you're digging into these facts that sometimes lawyers miss. Honestly, they miss. Like you get the best facts from your clients, honestly. Because they're looking at things the way that you would not look at things because you're bound by the law and they're not. And Anita has been spot on with this case since December. And so I really value her opinion. That's why I trust talking to non-lawyers about these kinds of cases, because they see things that a jury is going to pay attention to. They're invaluable for that reason. Yep. And so, Anita, you're a fucking rock star. How about that? With a bitchin' accent.
Thank you.
And of course, Brad, I don't mean for you to be the whipping boy for Republicans worldwide, but and he's not. Brad is great. We've had he's come on my show to talk politics. We may or may not do a show in the future where we're talking about, I wanted to do a show about Trump's 100-day review. And I told Brad, I was like, Brad, I really want to hear what you're thinking. I promise not to blow your back out. I promise. Well, I can't make that promise, but
no.
At least hear you out.
He said, "Hey, what do you want to? You want to do a politics stream on Trump's 100 days?" And I'm like, "Man, you really like blowing my black out, don't you? Like, god damn."
Brad's a fellow Michigander, so
yeah.
Knock on, brother.
But Brad told me that he's got legitimate criticisms of Trump, and I was interested in hearing him out. We may do that show next week. I got to talk to Brad about it. And then of course, Rob, thank you so much for making your this is your FLAD debut, man. You're invited back whenever you want to come on, man.
I enjoy it. I'll just either text you or you let me know when you want me to fill in or attend.
I just appreciate not being the oldest guy in the room. You know,
I bring that to the table. What did I say?
And then obviously can't forget Bruce the Moose. Bruce the Moose who's fleeing Oregon for Wisconsin or Canada or something. Yeah.
He has to go. I don't know if you know that.
He's like in semi-retirement over there. Bruce, your contributions are always appreciated.
Fake retirement.
Yeah, and I can never forget about the schnitzel.
Don't shame it.
The schnitzel with all the comic relief. I know she's tending to her child right now. But look, I love you all. You guys helped me out tremendously on the show. This show wouldn't be what it is without you guys. And I'm eternally grateful for all of you. Now, everybody in the comments. Hey, Miss Reggie is a Michigander. I was once in Michigan.
Yep.
The last time I was in Michigan was in 1999.
It's a little different.
Oh, that's before Y2K.
yeah, it was right before
Y2K. Coding for the year stuff, and it was driving me crazy for 3 years.
Yeah, I just remember I remember driving through Detroit. It's like, wow, this place is bullshit. What is this place?
I worked
It's even more
downtown. It was bad.
I was on my way to Chicago. That's how I got through Michigan. It's all a blur. I was like on some kickboxing tour or something. I forget it. Aquanet, I love you too, man. I love all of you folks in the chat. Mildly Mercurial, appreciate you too. I want you all to have a wonderful weekend. I'm going to bid you all adieu because it's getting late. 2.5 hours almost exactly. You all have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe out there. If you get in trouble, don't talk to the cops and call me immediately.
Lawyer up.
See you all next time. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye, Omar. Thanks.
All right, Rob. Take care, man.